Welcome to TCF Bank Stadium and welcome to Minnesota Vikings football. There you see Minnesota Larry Fitzgerald. He was one of the captains for the Arizona Cardinals, establishing the coin toss, and we will kick things off on the sidelines with former Vikings linebacker Ben Lieber, a defensive guy, analyzing the offensive line of the Vikings.
Yeah, that's right. You guys have talked about all the individual efforts tonight. Well, tonight, for me, it comes down to a group, and that's the offensive line. This Arizona Cardinal defense, 6th ranked defense in total defense last year, and they're the 6th best at getting to the quarterback and quarterback sacks. So to execute and keep the quarterback clean, they're going to have to communicate and have proper execution. More for tonight's game. Here's Greg Coleman.
Ben, you know when you talk about an African safari, they always talk about the big five. That's the lion, tiger, elephant, water buffalo, and the rhino. Well, tonight I want to talk about the big three. That's long snapper Cullen Loeffler, place kicker Blair Walsh, and punter Jeff Locke. These big three, coaches will always tell you 3 wins will come from this special teams group. Now, we hope at the end of the season that the Vikings will have 3 big wins from our big three. Now back upstairs for our big 2 Ps, Paul and Pete.
All right, thank you, Greg. Thank you, Ben. Here are tonight's keys to the game presented by Ram. We'll get to those keys of the game momentarily. Arizona kicking it left to right as we see it, kicking to the east side of TCF Bank Stadium. Jay Feely kicks for Arizona, wearing its road whites trimmed in cardinal red with the white helmets and the angry cardinal on the helmet. The Vikings, with their white pants trimmed in purple and gold, wear the purple jerseys and the white numbers. Second preseason game, both teams won their first preseason game. Vikings beat the Raiders, and the Arizona Cardinals beat Houston 32-0. Feely's kick, 5 yards deep. Here comes the rookie, Jerick McKinnon. Angles to the right, looks for a block at the 15 from Adam Thielen, and he gets it, and he's able to fall ahead to the 22-yard line. A return of 26 yard. Now the keys to the game provided by Ram.
No, I think one of the big things is don't let the breaking of camp be a distraction. These guys, they come back, they're in apartments, they're in their homes, and historically it's been a long week, so you got to get your head in the game. All 3 phases, that's what impressed me last week. Offense, turning the defense, and special teams on the kicking game, and the increased mental load of the second preseason game.
The Vikings offense starts first, traveling right to left. Matt Castle under quarterback. The Vikings have been quite explosive this week in training camp. Let's see if they look to go down the field on their very first play. Offset eye right. Play action from Castle. Puts the eyes deep down the field. Indeed. Fire right. Caught. Kyle Rudolph at the 40-yard line. It's a first down for the Vikings. It's an explosive 18-yard connection from Castle to Kyle Rudolph.
Well, you get the nice downhill play action with Matt Asiata. Good protection up front, and Kyle Rudolph just outrunning the linebacker across the field, coming open in the corner. That's 2 big corner routes in 2 weeks for Kyle Rudolph. So, Paul, we're seeing how this offense is going to want to use him going forward.
It's 1st and 10 Vikings, just underway. Second play from their own 39. Handoff to Matt Asiata, left side, trapped at the line of scrimmage. It'll be a loss of 1, make it a loss of 2. He is tackled by Calais Campbell, the former Kane. Tonight's keys, by the way, were provided by Ram. The new Ram 1500 is the 2014 Motor Trend Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. Visit ramtrucks.com for details. Adrian Peterson took part in the pregame warm-ups but will not play this evening. Quite honestly, he might not play all preseason, and Adrian's debut could be against the St. Louis Rams. It's second down, 2nd and 11 from the 38, third play of the game. Matt Castle, 5 of 6 last week against the Raiders. He puts Jerick McKinnon out wide left. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Castle facing a Calais Campbell rush. Sprints out to the right, eyes down the field. He'll run across the 40 and run out of bounds at the 41-yard line for a Matt Castle scamper of 3. It'll be 3rd and 8.
And I think, unfortunately for the Vikings offensive line, they let Calais Campbell get underneath, forcing Matt Castle to scramble to his outside. They had Jerick McKinnon one-on-one on the outside, and that would have been a matchup that they could have won. But it looked like Matt Khalil, Paul, just let him come underneath, a communication error or something. He just really let Calais Campbell dance underneath him. So I chalked it up as a mental error by the offensive line.
Cordero Patterson wide right, 2 receivers left on 3rd down. First 3rd down of the game. 3rd and 8 from the Vikings 41, no score. Matt Castle shotgun, Cardinals blitz. It's what they do. Castle fires right, incomplete. Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson was covered by Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, maybe the best cornerback in the NFL. Cordero Patterson had 3 receptions last week. The Vikings, after an 18-yard strike to Kyle Rudolph, they get a first down, then they go 3 and out, and Jeff Locke is set to punt it to Ted Ginn Jr., formerly a member of the San Francisco 49ers and Miami Dolphins. Jeff Locke last week averaged 36.8 yards per punt. It's a beautiful night at TCF Bank Stadium, a little sticky as the sun sets to the west. The left-footed Locke, second year from UCLA, booms it to Ted Ginn Jr., retreats to his own 10, jukes to the left, play strung out to the 15, flag on the play, and Ted Ginn is dismissed by Mr. L. Raymond. 49-yard punt by Jeff Locke. Nice open field tackle by Mr. L. Raymond. Once again, we had a flag on the play. Adam Thielen, the Detroit Lakes kid by way of Mankato, had a good week last week on punt coverage, didn't he, Pete?
Yeah, he did, and we'll see for him. We'll see if he's going to be able to show up again tonight as a return guy, and to be that number 4, number 5 wide receiver in this group. You really have to show
the block in the back
teams.
on the return team. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
That's referee Craig Rolstad.
Timeout.
The Arizona Cardinals will start inside the 10-yard line against Mike Zimmer's defense. First quarter action from TCF Bank Stadium. No score on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. The Arizona Cardinals have the ball first and 10 from their own 6-yard line. Carson Palmer, 12th year from USC. He was the starting quarterback for the Trojans when Matt Castle was the backup. First and 10 from the 6-yard line, and Palmer goes play action. He'll look to fire right from his end zone, passes right to Larry Fitzgerald. Incomplete. Harrison Smith and Chad Greenway on the coverage at 2nd and 10. Tonight's American Family Insurance impact player is that guy, Brian Robinson.
And Brian Robinson had an outstanding year last year, 9 sacks, 103 tackles. And what we've seen out of him is he's grown into this position. He was never drafted and just given that defensive end spot. He has earned it year in and year out, and every year he continues to work to get better.
The impact player is presented by American Family Insurance, helping you protect your dreams. Carson Palmer, veteran quarterback, out of the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Pats the ball, fires right, caught Larry Fitzgerald at the 26-yard line as he fired right. He caught it on Marcus Sherrills, who played in this building, TCF Bank Stadium. A gain of 21. Here's a Larry Fitzgerald, formerly of Holy Angels High School, where he was a wide receiver, a free safety, and a linebacker for Coach Mike Pendino. In 2000, his senior year, Fitz with 73 catches, 1,254 yards, and 17 touchdowns. As a junior in '99, he had 10 consecutive 100-yard games. At Holy Angels, he was a 2-time All-State performer and 2-time All-America. On 1st and 10, Palmer, no score, back to pass, whips it out to the left, and it is caught by John Brown, a speedy rookie who gets loose across the 50. Inside the 40, far sidelines to the 30 and the 20, and Marcus Sherrills runs him down. That is John Brown, a rookie wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, taken with the 91st overall pick in the 3rd round from Pittsburgh State.
Well, that's just a wide receiver screen from the outside, and one of those 3 defensive backs that had a shot at him, especially Captain Munnerlyn, you need to get over the top and you need to make that play. So that's just poor tackling in space.
The Arizona Cardinals, a team that beat the Houston Texans 32-0 in the first preseason game, have it 1st and 10 from the Vikings 22. Following the John Brown hit of 51 yards. Offset eye left behind Carson Palmer, a couple of receivers right. Carson whips it right, incomplete. The rookie Brown with a dazzling play for 51 yards. Then he comes on a slant right to left and drops an easy one. Welcome to the NFL, right?
Yeah, and that's consistency, and that's something that as you get older in this league, it's necessary, because he could have had another big play there. Carson Palmer, Paul, making some good decisions. He sits back, he sees one-on-one on the outside, looks for that little quick pick route and tried to get the ball inside quickly. So I think Arizona is just reading what the Viking defense is doing and trying to take advantage of it.
That was Jerron Brown with the drop, as Palmer on 2nd down hands the ball off to the tailback, tries the left side, and it will be a gain of 2 yards. The tackle is by Harrison Smith, making it 3rd and 8 for Arizona from the 20-yard line. Running the ball for the Arizona Cardinals was Andre Ellington, a 2nd-year guy from Clemson.
And Andre Ellington had a great year last year, but that's what Harrison Smith can do. He can come down from 10, 12 yards deep great angle to the running back and pulled Ellington down before he made a yard. So a great stop, one that we're getting used to seeing from Harrison Smith.
It's 3rd and 8 from the Vikings 20, no score. Carson Palmer shotgun, quick hitter right. It is caught by Ellington out of the backfield. Sprints inside the 10, sprints for a Cardinals first down, and is escorted escorted out of bounds inside the 5 at the 4. A 16-yard completion. Captain Munnerlyn, the one to force the back out of bounds. It's 1st and goal, Arizona.
And the Vikings had a free blitzer off the end, and this is one of the ways that you beat it. You just let Ellington, or the running back, forego his protection, hit out to the flat quickly. Ellington with the speed to catch that ball and turn it up for the first down.
Everson Griffin, Fred Evans, Sharif Floyd, and Brian Robinson, the defensive line for the Vikings. 1st and goal for the Cardinals. Handoff Ellington right up the middle, attacking a part of the Vikings defense without Linval Joseph, out with a leg injury. Some tough love yardage there for Ellington, a gain of 3. 2nd and goal from the 1.
Ellington splitting time last year. It looks to me like this year he's going to get a majority of the time. And like you said, Paul, Linval Joseph out. This is the time and this is the place when you need a guy up front. So those big defensive linemen that are in there right now, Sharif Floyd, you got to get big. You got to take up a couple gaps here.
2nd and goal from the 1. Larry Fitzgerald left opposite Xavier Rhodes. Jerron Brown in motion to the right. Palmer under center. Fade. Fitzgerald back left to the end zone. Incomplete. No flags. Xavier Rhodes and Larry Fitzgerald tied up back left to the end zone. Excellent coverage by the 2nd-year guy from Florida State. 3rd and goal, Arizona from the 1.
And Carson Palmer saw this matchup one-on-one. He's going to take this shot 9 times out of 10. And this is one of the things that Rhodes is getting better at. He just with the hand placement, and then the key is he looked back for the football, Paul. And when the referees and the officials, they see him looking back like that, they're not as likely to throw the flag.
Palmer under center, offset eye left, couple of tight ends to the right. Handoff goes to Dwyer, skips around the left side, touchdown Arizona Cardinals. Everson Griffin took a stab at him, couldn't get him. And the touchdown for the Arizona Cardinals goes to Jonathan Dwyer in his 5th year from Georgia Tech. Road team lead 6-0.
And I put this squarely on the shoulders of Gerald Hodges on the outside. He just does not get contained and turn it back into all his help. So if you have one breakdown at one spot on a defense, things like that are going to happen. So just one mismatch on the outside caused a touchdown, Paul.
Carson Palmer begins the game 3 of 6 for 87 yards. A Jerron Brown 51-yard screen paved the way for the touchdown drive. Extra point from the 15, 33-yard try by Jay Feely. And it's good. Jonathan Dwyer with a rushing touchdown after the Vikings get a first down and go 3 and out. Norv Turner's offense heads to the field shortly, trailing by 7. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Kick off the 2014 season and run through the Vikings training facility at the TCO Vikings 5K Run September 7th, presented by Twin Cities Orthopedics. To register, go to Vikings.com/run. Arizona goes 9 plays, 93 yards, took 3.5 minutes. Leads 7-0, 9.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. Jerron Brown with a 51-yard screen paved the way. There's Feely's kick. Jerick McKinnon 5 yards deep. Takes it on the run near side to the 5, to the 10, to the 15. The rookie shakes a tackle at the 20, lowers the helmet at the 25, and is taken down at the 27. A 30-yard return by 3rd-round rookie Jerick McKinnon. Vikings ball. Cardinals lead 7-0 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back to Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. 7-0 Cardinals. Tonight's player spotlight is presented by Chrysler. It's the quarterback, Matt Castle.
Now, and getting in the second preseason game, we're going to look to have him in the whole first half. Last week, like we said earlier, efficient, accurate, 5 for 6 for 62 yards, 11 TDs and 9 interceptions in his first season with the Vikings, Paul. And I look back at that last series, 3rd and 8, took a shot down the sideline, Cordero Patterson one-on-one. I like the call. And those are the kinds of plays that this offense is going to need to make if they're going to be deadly, if they want to run up and down on the field on people. Again, Adrian Peterson not in the game makes it a little more difficult, Paul, but I like what Matt Castle's doing.
The player spotlight is presented by Chrysler. All the things that make a born maker made this. The all-new Chrysler 200 with available all-wheel drive, America's imports. Matt Castle started the game, 1 of 2 for 17 yards. He's under center, 1st and 10 from his own 32. Offset eye right, the tailback is Matt Asiata. He gets the call. Up the middle, he tries to shake on the safety. Flag on the play. Hit and stopped at the 35-yard line by Rashad Johnson in his 6th year from Alabama. A gain of 3 by Matt Asiata.
Holding. Offense. Number 42. 10-yard penalty. Replay. 1st down.
It's Jerome Felton.
Now, they had a nice cross dog up the middle, and Felton just has to redirect and handle that, move his feet without bringing the linebacker to the ground. Adrian Peterson sitting on the sidelines, watching the game, taking it all in. He was out there warming up, and he looks ready to go, no question about it. He passes the eye test, Paul, just like he has for the last 8 years. And you know, you want to, discretion's a better part of valor. Let the guy get ready, let him take care of himself, and be ready for week 1.
Adrian Peterson, like Pete said, not playing tonight. Wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play the entire preseason. It's 1st down. Castle shotgun, sees nothing. He now dumps right to Asiata at the 20, tries to turn it upfield, but he is encountered at the line of scrimmage by a speedy Arizona Cardinals defense. That's no gain, and the tackle by Larry Foote. Take a look at some vintage Adrian Peterson. That's a 2007 game against the Chicago Bears where he went for 364 total yards. Adrian Peterson had 3 touchdowns that game, and that, in fact, is the last time the Vikings won a game at Soldier Field. Here's Adrian against Norv Turner, San Diego Chargers. There's Antonio Cromartie, currently with the Arizona Cardinals. Adrian ran for a single-game NFL record that day. That game also had a 109-yard touchdown by Antonio Cromartie on a missed field goal. Matt Castle hands the ball to Matt Asiata on 2nd and 18. Heads near side across the 25. It's a gain of 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 15.
Yeah, and I think the running backs in this series have really set the offense back and put them in a tough position here now. You're staring at 3rd and about 14, 3rd and 15. It was holding on the first play. Then Asiata on that second play didn't cut the defensive end and get enough of them and make Castle scramble. So those couple mistakes have put this Viking offense in a tough position in this series.
And the Vikings are 0 of 1 on 3rd down. This is 3rd and 15 from their own 27, trailing 7-0 first quarter. TCF Bank Stadium, 2 receivers left, 1 right. The Cardinals rush 3. Castle steps up, deep center of the field, caught 1st down. At the 46-yard line, it is Jerome Simpson on the right eye of the Norseman. The makeshift Vikings logo here at TCF Bank Stadium. It's a gain of 19 yards and a 1st down for the Minnesota Vikings.
Great job by the veteran Castle, being poised, letting it open up in the middle, and delivering a strike right into the hands of Robinson. So just a nice job of protection. Castle not hurried. If you give a veteran like Castle time, he's going to find a way to pick this thing apart. And 3rd and 15, that gets a fist pump out of Adrian Peterson.
Castle 3 of 4, 37 yards. Couple of receivers right, 1 left. Goes back to pass. He's looking right, feeling good. Fires right, caught. Cordero Patterson on Patrick Peterson. The great Patrick Peterson permitted that 3rd down connection to Jerome Simpson. That's a gain of 5, making it 2nd and 5. Cordero Patterson had a kick return touchdown last year against the Green Bay Packers of 109 yards. That ties Antonio Cromartie, playing right now for the Arizona Cardinals, for the longest touchdowns in NFL history. As we mentioned with Cromartie in 2007 at Metrodome, he had a 109-yard missed field goal return for a touchdown. The coach of the Chargers that day, current Vikings offensive coordinator Norv Turner. 2nd and 5, toss right. Asiata turns up with a head of steam, shakes a tackle at the Cardinals 47, and Asiata falls ahead to the 43-yard line for a gain of 7. There you see 109-yard touchdown return immortality. Cordero Patterson on the left and Antonio Cromartie on the right. I'll never forget that Antonio Cromartie touchdown return, because it was against the field goal team, which means you had guys like Bryant McKinney with a 40-yard head start trying to run down Antonio Cromartie.
I just remember him catching that field goal and almost stepping out of the back of the end zone. I mean, it's as long as a return as you'll ever see.
Castle play action, sees nothing, shakes pressure up the middle, sprints 35-30 between the hash marks. Look at him go! Matt Castle across the 20. And Matt Castle is taken down at the 20. A 23-yard scamper by Matt Castle, tackled by Sam Acho. A fourth-year linebacker, 1st and 10 for the Vikings.
And we're seeing man-to-man all over the place. Nobody open down the field. And Castle, he's not known for his athleticism, but he's quick enough to step up, avoid the pressure in the pocket, and then when all those DBs are in man-to-man, Paul, they're looking at their receivers, they're looking at their coverage, they're not looking back at the quarterback, and that gave Castle, plenty of room to get down the middle of the field.
Castle's longest run as a pro in a regular season game in 2010, it went for 23 yards.
Encroachment. Defense, number 92. Contacting the center. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Nose tackle Dan Williams on the infraction. There's Cardinals coach Bruce Arians in his 2nd season. In my estimation, in my opinion, one of the elite offensive minds in the NFL.
Oh, no question about it. And with the guys like Ellington in the backfield and a couple of his offensive linemen and free agents that he's added, expect this offense for the Cardinals to be better. It kind of went with up and down with how Palmer did, how the quarterback played. I think this year they're going to have a lot more in the way of a running game.
1st and 5 from the 15. Castle shotgun runs out of it with Asiata between the hash marks across the 15. And he is stopped after a run of 2 yards. It is Acho on the tackle again. That'll make it 2nd and 3 from the 13. 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Cardinals lead 7-0. Road team went 9 plays, 93 yards, took 326. Jonathan Dwyer with a 1-yard run around left end. He went in unscathed, giving Arizona a 7-0 lead. Arizona controlled the clock against Houston for 42 minutes, 7 seconds last week. Trips left, Cordero Patterson right, now empty backfield as Matt Asiata flexes out to become a wide receiver right on 2nd down. Castle shotgun. Arizona rushes forward. Castle pumps, sees nothing, sprints up the middle across the 10 and dives just outside of the hash mark. Hash marks to the 8-yard line. Kenny Dennins is the one to bring him down. A run of 5 yards for Matt Castle. 2 runs, 28 yards for Matt Castle, who needs Adrian Peterson, right?
He's looking fleet of foot, but they had the situation that they wanted, motioning Asiata out of the backfield to get Cordero Patterson one-on-one with the slot or with the safety inside. Cordero making a move, wasn't wide open. And then again, Castle just making a play with his feet.
Handoff Asiata on 1st and goal from the 9. Bam, right up the middle, hit at the line of scrimmage, thrown backwards for a loss of 1. It is Kenny Dennins in his first year from Michigan with another tackle. And it'll be 2nd and goal from the 10-yard line. Jerome Felton checks in, so does Jerome Simpson. Greg Jennings, one of 2 to depart with Red Ellison. Minnesota Vikings starting offensive line intact, left to right, Matt Khalil, Charlie Johnson, John Sullivan, Brandon Fusco, and Phil Lodhall. Kyle Rudolph, the tight end, stands up to the left of the left tackle, Matt Khalil. And on 2nd and goal from the 10, Castle out of the shotgun, trips left, 2 receivers right, takes the snap. Cardinals rush 4, fires over the middle, caught between the hash marks at the 3. Kyle Rudolph, his 2nd reception tonight, gain of 7 for Kyle, 2 catches and 25 yards. Larry Foote, linebacker in the 3-4 set for Todd Bowles' Cardinals defense, with his 3rd tackle tonight. 3rd and goal from the 3.
And again, it's a great job by Norv Turner putting the running backs on the outside, and you see Kyle Rudolph and is in the middle of the field along next to Cordero Patterson on the other side. That's going to open up any defense. You get your best receivers on the inside, take advantage of that weakness in the middle of that coverage.
10 plays, 58 yards so far. 3rd and goal from the 3. Castle shotgun again. 3 receivers stand up left. Castle looks to the right, fade back right of the end zone. Incomplete off the fingertips of Kyle Rudolph. On 3rd and goal, he was covered by Dion Buchanan, a rookie from Washington State. Blair Walsh for a field goal try.
Well, Paul, that's the difference in this game. It's a game of inches. And right here, Kyle Rudolph, a ball that he should have caught and not getting another chance to take a look at it. Nice job getting off on the safety and getting to the corner, wide open. Nice throw by Castle. I think Rudolph wished he would have had that one back to turn around and actually square himself up. But an earlier barely missed reception by Patterson, and now Rudolph, and this game would be completely different.
Blair Walsh, 21-yard try. Colin Loeffler's snap is good. 2nd-year guy Locke puts it down, and Walsh bangs it through from 21. The Vikings have scored. 2:01 to go in the first quarter from TCF Bank Stadium. Arizona 7, Vikings 3. This is Minnesota Vikings football. What's up, Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back. Wired for sound this evening is offensive tackle Tiny Richardson.
Hey,
boop, 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 boop. Yes, sir. Boop, 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 boop. Everybody want to be a dope boy. Everybody want to be a coke boy. Everybody got a chop.
Antonio Tiny Richardson, undrafted from Tennessee, wired for sound this evening. For exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, visit Vikings.com, your source for everything purple. Blair Walsh bangs it out of the back of the end zone for a touchback. 2:01 to go in the first quarter. Cardinals ball with a 4-point lead on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. Football, Vikings Entertainment Network. Pete Bursich and Paul Allen coming up at halftime from the team's documentary show Vikings Beyond the Gridiron. Tonight, the fight to earn a roster spot for undrafted Vikings tackle Antonio Richardson, who we have Mike tonight, and Adam Thielen, who had a fantastic debut last week against the Oakland Raiders. For more insider content, tune in all season long Saturdays on KARE 11. Ben Lieber and Greg Coleman are on the sidelines. Pete Bursich and Paul Allen behind the Cardinals bench high atop TCF Bank Stadium. 2:01 to go in the first quarter. Carson Palmer started the game 3 of 6 for 87 yards. He's still in. Takes the snap out of the shotgun on first down. Pressured, flustered, flag on the play. Sprints right across the 25. Avoids a big hit by Chad Greenway at the 28. And he slides down for a gain of 8. This penalty will be against the Minnesota Vikings. Kind of a sloppy Vikings defense so far.
Yeah, it looks like a legal contact, which we've seen a lot of this preseason all across the NFL, so it's a point of emphasis of the officials. Questionable hold on Brian Robinson. Nice job by the defensive line, Paul. Collapsed in the pocket on Palmer, but just not completing the job. That just comes down to somebody getting free and getting the hand loose and bringing them to the ground as the officials talk this over to find out which way the Cardinals want to go.
Craig Rolstad.
Holding. Defense
is the ref.
Number 24. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
Captain Munnerlyn flagged. Also missed a tackle on a Jerron Brown 51-yard hit for a screen. A little different playing these Arizona Cardinals compared to the Oakland Raiders last week, isn't it, Peter?
It is. It's a world of difference. And again, they look like a 10-win team.
A couple of receivers left, one right, 1st and 10 from the 33. Carson Palmer, 12th year from the University of Southern California. He's out of the shotgun. Jonathan Dwyer, the tailback. Palmer hit as he throws left. Incomplete. Flag on this play. Sharif Floyd, the one to mash the sternum of Carson Palmer. Flag came in from the secondary, Peter.
Yeah, this will be illegal contact by Chad Greenway, and it's one of those things where the tight ends run
illegal contact. Defense, number 52. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Into the preseason games this week. Before they started with Jacksonville, Chicago on Thursday, there were 17 illegal contact penalties called week 1 of preseason action. 3 penalties against the Vikings, 20 yards.
No, it's one of the things. This is the way the game's gone. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that a tight end can run 15 yards down the field right into a linebacker and get the call on it. So, whatever. It's a passing league now.
Carson Palmer hands the ball off to Dwyer, who has a touchdown tonight, turns it up the field, hit at the 40, and he falls ahead for a gain of 3 yards. Everson Griffin, an Arizona native, with the tackle. And that's a short gain for Dwyer, making it 2nd and 7 from the 41. Cardinals hustle to the line. Carson Palmer goes out of the shotgun, leading 7-3 deep in the first quarter. Larry Fitzgerald slot left. Jerron Brown to his left, rookie John Brown wide right. Carson Palmer dump. Fitzgerald between the hash marks, caught at the 44. Captain Munnerlyn brings him down at the 45 for a gain of 4. That'll make it 3rd and 3 from the 45. And Arizona zips to the line again. Cardinals 2 of 2 on 3rd down conversions. Bruce Arians going no huddle in the second preseason game. 2 receivers left, 1 right, 35 seconds to go in the first quarter. Jonathan Dwyer, the single set to the right of Palmer. The Vikings have 7 players on the line. Snap. Palmer, short drop. Everson Griffin might have been held, no call. Fade left, incomplete. No flags in the secondary.
Wow.
No flags in the secondary. I want to see this replay. I thought Everson Griffin was mugged as he was trying to come get Carson Palmer. Vikings force a punt.
Nice job by the Viking defense. 10 men on the line of scrimmage before the ball snapped. Getting after Palmer. As you see Brian Robinson with a spin move underneath, but just enough of him by Griffin to pull him down. And you're right, Paul. I think there was Some pass interference by the wide receiver. Both guys have a right to the ball. Getting a chance to look at it, I think it was a good no call by the officials.
Here's Marcus Sherrills, missed last week. Fields the punt at the 5. Tries to head off to the right, gets loose at the 10 to the 15 to the 20, cuts it up to the 25 to the 30, run down from behind at the 36. Marcus Sherrills with a 49, make that 30-yard punt return. He had a big year last year as a punt returner, and what a way to end the first quarter for the Minnesota Vikings. They trail 7-3. Marcus Sherrills, the former Golden Gopher, with a big punt return at TCF Bank Stadium. Second quarter action around the corner on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back to Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Here's the Vikings trivia question presented by Mills Fleet Farm. Yes, no Roman numerals. Name the two former Cardinal head coaches who were assistants under Hall of Fame coach Bud Grant. Peter, that's all on you. You were a former coach in the NFL. Yeah. I wasn't. Wow. Vikings trivia is presented by Mills Fleet Farm. We love it. Two former Cardinals head coaches who were assistants under Hall of Fame coach Bud Grant.
They always got to go that far back in time, don't they?
Well, they're catering to the elderly analyst. Matt Castle on first down. Flag on the play. Handoff. Matt Asiata tries to take the circuitous route around the left side across the 40. And he's forced out at the 44-yard line by Lorenzo Alexander. Formerly a special team standout for the Washington Redskins.
Holding. Defense.
Yes.
Number 92. 5-yard penalty added to the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Big old Dan Williams, 6'3", 320. Fifth year from Tennessee. Peek at Mike Zimmer there, head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. His adversary this evening is Bruce Arians. Head coach Mike Zimmer. In his 21st NFL season, 6-year defensive coordinator with the Cincinnati Bengals. Spent 12 years with the Dallas Cowboys. 6 as DB's coach, 6 as defensive coordinator. And was the DB's coach for the '95 Cowboys, the Super Bowl champions. The Vikings scrimmage from near midfield. 1st and 10 from their own 49. Trailing 7-3, Pete Bursich, Paul Allen, Ben Lieber, Greg Coleman. Good evening. Matt Castle out of the shotgun Cardinals blitz. Deep drop for Matt. He'll fire left, caught Rudolph. Effortless, makes a man miss at the 30, inside the 20. Touchdown, Minnesota Vikings. A 51-yard touchdown strike. Matt Castle to Kyle Rudolph. And the Minnesota Vikings have taken the lead. Excellent block on that play, by the way, by third-round rookie Jerick McKinnon. Let's take a look.
Now, and if you're wondering about the connection from Castle to Rudolph, it's there. And Rudolph, this is what we wanted to see. Ability to make the first tackler miss. Jerick McKinnon picking up a brilliant block down the field, and Rudolph able to walk into the end zone. So in the first 2 games, Paul, we've seen a lot of Rudolph in the corners, a lot of Rudolph on 7 routes. I think that weight that he lost this offseason has made him a little quicker in the back end, and he's playing more like a wide receiver than he is a tight end.
Blair Walsh with the extra point try from the 23. Right-footed banger is good. And the Vikings off the Matt Castle to Kyle Rudolph with an assist to Jerick McKinnon touchdown have claimed the lead early in the second quarter over the Arizona Cardinals. We'll be back shortly to TCF Bank Stadium on the Vikings Entertainment Network. It's Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Minnesota Vikings lead 10-7 in the second quarter, second preseason game. The excitement is building for the new stadium in 2016. It's a new home for your Minnesota Vikings, a new beginning and new opportunities for our fans. Start your Vikings legacy today by visiting VikingsLegacy.com. It's VikingsLegacy.com. Here's Blair Walsh's kick. About 9 yards deep in the end zone. This time the Cardinals opt to bring it up. It is Golden who is in trouble. The play strung out to the right, and Sean Prater mugs him at the 4. Sean Prater, the former Hawkeye, traps Carson Palmer and the Arizona Cardinals inside the 4-yard line. That is a return of 9 yards. Matt Castle with a 51-yard pass to Kyle Rudolph to give the Vikings the lead. Somebody to Kyle Rudolph will be throwing touchdowns in that beautiful new stadium in 2016.
Yeah, and when you drive by, you can see some of the framework going up. So it's finally rising up out of the hole that they dug as soon as the dome went down. So it's going to be exciting from here on out. I know you can go on to Vikings.com and get live feed and new pictures of everything at newminnesotastadium.com. Go there as well.
Drew Stanton in at quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. Carson Palmer finishes 4 of 8, 91 yards. And Stanton proceeds to run into Jonathan Dwyer. And then Dwyer runs into a host of Vikings. Captain Munnerlyn, Sean Everson Griffin, and Chad Greenway, along with Sharif Floyd. Sharif Floyd is off to a fantastic start this evening. Mike Wobschall, content manager from Vikings.com, pointed that out to me.
Yeah, Sharif Floyd's been involved in a lot of plays, getting into the quarterback. He's got to play to the whistle on that one, though. I think the defense lulled themselves to sleep, thinking that the running back was down and wasn't. But you're right, Paul. Sharif Floyd has to get better fundamentally, has to stay on his feet, and I think he's starting to show up tonight.
The Cardinals firsters, the ones are done. Vikings sticking with their first offense. Second down, Stanton, deep drop, looks left, passes left, and it's caught at the 10-yard line. Bam! Big hit by Xavier Rhodes. Chad Greenway in the mix, too. Xavier having a fantastic game so far. That's a gain of 8 yards. Stanton to Darren Fells, a first-year tight end from UC Irvine. Now 3rd and 2 from the 13-yard line. Look at Stanton, eyeballed the tight end, and he's hit in the end zone.
Yeah, he got hit by Everson Griffin.
Yeah.
And then we got to see a 6'7", 281-pound tight end get sat down by Xavier Rhodes.
Cards are 2 of 3 on 3rd down. Vikes lead 10-7, second quarter, second preseason game. Stanton, deep drop, flustered by Everson, and he's nearly hit in the end zone for a safety. So he hoists the white flag and throws it away because an on-charging Everson Griffin nearly had a safety. Cardinals punt from the end zone. Everson Griffin.
Well, Everson Griffin doing the spin move inside and that's the athleticism there, able to redirect even though he's taking the bad angle. And trust me, there was nobody open behind him. So Everson Griffin taking advantage of good coverage down the field, pursuing the quarterback. And again, Paul, this defense looked a little shaky at first, but they've really turned things around. Now, great chance for field position.
Marcus Sherrills fields it at his own 47, looks for room up the middle, hit hard at the 49, holds on to the ball. And the Vikings have it with a 10-7 lead. Xavier Rhodes so far with the hit of the game on tight end Daniel Fells. Vikes lead. This is Minnesota Vikings football. Welcome back to Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Take a peek at the drive summary provided by the Minnesota Department of Public Safety. Drive sober or get pulled over, Pete.
Oh, nice job. Again, it's the quick score that we haven't seen out of this offense. We hadn't seen since Brett Favre was here back in 09, a lot of these 2-3 play 60-some yard drives. So that was a nice quick score, and the Vikings started out slowly. Now they're up 10-7, so they've really turned it around.
Castle play action with 100 yards passing so far. Dump left on a cross, caught Cordero Patterson. His first reception of the game. Cordero Patterson tackled by Gerard Powers in his 6th year from Auburn. A gain of 4. Matt Castle, 7 of 9, 104 yards. A touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. Into that last play, his passer rating 156.1. A week removed from having a passer rating of nearly 110. The Vikings starting offensive line still in the game, going against some of the starters for the Arizona Cardinals. Offset eye right, handoff Asiata. Great block by Pro Bowl fullback Jerome Felton at the Cardinals 45-yard line. And the tackle is by Lorenzo Alexander. Gain of 4, 3rd and 2. What do you think about Coach Zimmer's approach in the second preseason game of stretching out his starting offense and defense probably deep into the second quarter, Pete?
No, I like it. These guys need to get as much work as they can, and then not knowing what he's going to plan. You know, the 4th game, let's face it, you go from a Saturday to a Thursday, so the starters won't get much time at all. You have one more chance to tune it up next week, and it goes by very quickly.
Couple of receivers right, one left on 3rd down. Castle back to pass, fires left, caught in stride. Greg Jennings at the 35-yard line on a slant. And Jennings is taken down at the 32-yard line.
I think Buddy Ryan might be one answer to this question.
Vikings trivia presented by Mills Fleet Farm. What do you got?
Buddy Ryan might be one. I don't know who else.
Bob Hallway.
Yeah.
There it is.
How could you forget him?
Yep, Bob Hallway.
Of course. I forgot the obvious one.
That comes courtesy of Mills Fleet Farm. We love it. Matt Castle, 7 of 9, 104 and 104 yards and a touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. First down, 1st and 10 from the Cardinals 32. Vikings lead 10-7 from the campus of the University of Minnesota. Timeout. Play clock had run down to 2. Castle had guys in motion, and he will use the first Vikings timeout of the first half. Blair Walsh with a field goal. Castle to Rudolph for a touchdown. Jonathan Dwyer with a touchdown for Arizona. 10-7 Vikes. It's Vikings football. Here we are, all together. Vikings football, Vikings Entertainment Network. Come on and nab those 2014 Vikings season tickets right now. Great location still available, and receive priority on tickets in the new stadium. It's Vikings.com. Vikings.com. The home schedule begins with the New England Patriots. First down, I formation handoff. Matt Asiata to the right, jukes back to the left across the 30 against the second unit of the Arizona Cardinals. A sprint of 4 yards by Matt Asiata. And Mike Higgins, a backup tight end, checks in as Jerome Felton departs the game. Asiata, 9 carries, 24 yards. The chief backup to Adrian Peterson on the depth chart. But with new offensive coordinator Norv Turner, expect Cordero Patterson to run some out of the backfield. He had 3 rushing touchdowns last year. The third down, the rookie trick from Georgia Southern, Jerick McKinnon. You can use him all over the place. Of course, you have Adrian Peterson. I can't wait to watch this offense operate. First game of the season, September 7th at St. Louis. I want to see what this offense can do, Peter.
No, you're absolutely right, Paul. And what are they holding? What cards they holding? And you're seeing just the progression of this offense and what Norv Turner's wanting to do. A lot of running back motion out of the backfield this week, trying to get the wide receivers or Kyle Rudolph or Jennings or Cordero Patterson inside one-on-one with the matchups on the inside safeties and linebackers of the Arizona Cardinals. So that's a little bit of the game plan. You don't do a lot of game planning, even in the second preseason game, but there's always a theme, and it's worked very well tonight. And Kyle Rudolph, Paul, has had an outstanding evening.
Greg Jennings left. He has a reception. Matt Castle's under center. Matt Asiata the tailback. Rhett Ellison, tight end left to right. Cordero Patterson, the wide receiver, right. They run right on a toss to Matt Asiata. Play strung out. Nice play by the Cardinals. And he's taken down at the 34-yard line. A loss of 5 yards. Let's go to the sidelines. Here's Ben Lieber.
Hey, guys, I'm down here. On that last kickoff, Sean Prater made the tackle, got up a little bit woozy. They did take him back to the locker room for a head injury, and he is listed as questionable.
Thanks, Ben. Former linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings, Ben Lieber. Greg Coleman will interview that guy, Mike Zimmer, into the third quarter. The Vikings are 2 of 4 on third down. This is 3rd and 11 from the Cardinals 33. Vikings ones versus the Cardinals 2. Cardinals blitz. Castle, dump, right, throws it into the ground to Matt Asiata. Play never had a chance to develop. Excellent pursuit that time by Frosty Rucker, a 9th-year defensive end from USC. Frosty Rucker, formerly a linebacker for Mike Zimmer and the Cincinnati Bengals. Frosty Rucker.
Now that was just the right call by the Arizona Cardinals at the right time, and now we're going to line up.
Here we go.
And we're going to get a pretty good kick here, Paul.
51-yard try into the east side of the stadium. That is not the opened end of the stadium. 51-yard try, Blair Walsh. Snap good, spot down, right-footed kick, ton of leg, and it is hooking left, it's off the left upright. He missed it. Blair Walsh 0 for 2 from 50 and beyond in the preseason. But the Vikings still lead 10-7, 9-12 to go in the first half on the Vikings Entertainment Network. And welcome back to Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Rookie Tiny Richardson, an offensive tackle, is wired for sound this evening, and here he is.
Teddy, we're having fun, baby. Having fun. We're having fun. Hey, good job on the backside, Matt. Great job, baby.
For exclusive content you won't find anywhere else, visit Vikings.com, your source for everything purple. Cardinals ball. Trailing 10-7. Drew Stanton, the quarterback. And on the run that time is Ted Ginn Jr., backup wide receiver for these Cardinals. 8th year from Arizona State, gain of 3. St. Paul's Michael Floyd did not play this evening due to injury. Richfield's Larry Fitzgerald did play. Larry had a couple of receptions for 24 yards. Backups in for the Arizona Cardinals. A couple of receivers right, one left. And the first team Vikings defense still in the game. Anthony Barr, rookie from UCLA, cheats to the line to the right of Everson Griffin. Handoff, Jonathan Dwyer gets a seam to the right side. Across the 45, hit and stopped at the 48-yard line. Kirk Coleman, who had an interception last week, upends Dwyer after a gain of 4 yards. Kirk Coleman battling for a safety spot opposite Harrison Smith. Chris Crocker, the former Cincinnati Bengal, who played for defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer for 6 years in Cincinnati and 1 in Atlanta, played extensively early. Jamarcus Sanford is back in uniform this week. Mr. O. Raymond had a big play on a kick return. Harrison Smith's one of the starting safeties. The spot opposite Harrison Smith still very much up for grabs. Kirk Coleman trying to win that job, Pete.
Yeah, Kirk Coleman giving it a shot. In last week, he came up big with an interception. So a guy familiar with this defense, and that's a big advantage, Paul. When you come in, you know what to expect. You know what Zimmer's all about. You're familiar with all the calls, and I know Zimmer is expecting him to be a leader, and he's getting his chance right now. So his physical presence, I think that's going to be the key. You know, Harrison Smith, we know, can cover ground in the back end and he can tackle. It's a rarity for a safety to do both. So we need someone that can complement Harrison Smith.
Smith and Coleman, the safeties now, 1st and 10. And Stanton from under center with a handoff between the hash marks up the middle, tackle by Chad Greenway. And a run of 2 yards for the Arizona Cardinals' second string offense. The run that time was Stepvan Taylor, second-year running back from Stanford. There's Chris Crocker, joined the Vikings a couple of weeks ago. He's a safety. He had a couple of sacks on Carson Palmer and 1 interception on Carson Palmer during his career. He has the chance to win a spot on this Vikings team in his 12th year from Marshall, as Stanton gives the ball to Stepvan to the right side to the Vikings 45-yard line. And the diminutive 5'9" tailback Taylor is stopped by Marcus Sherrills. A gain of 2. 2nd and 8 from the 47. 6:40 and counting to go in the first half. The Vikings lead 10-7.
Now, nice job by Harrison Smith getting up there and making the running back make a decision and kind of cleaning it up to let Sherrills come in and make the tackle. So gap discipline, Paul, is an important part of this defensive scheme. Every man's in every gap. There's no fudging. There's no two-gapping going on. And the Vikings defense is they've really looked pretty good right now in that respect.
Interesting on 3rd down. Anthony Barr, the left defensive end. Stanton fires right, caught 1st down, Vikings 39-yard line. The 1st down reception was hauled in by Ted Ginn Jr. Interesting, Mike Zimmer, George Edwards defensive coordinator set. We may see it via replay. Anthony Barr was the left defensive end. Brian Robison was the right defensive tackle. That was on 3rd and 6. It's a sub package, right?
It is, and that's exactly right. They can have him starting out there a little bit on 3rd down, and I'm just surprising to see Brian Robison inside. Usually Everson Griffin is the guy that comes in. He's the one used to playing in the interior tackle on 3rd down from previous seasons.
1st and 10 from the Vikings 38. Minnesota leads by 3. Drew Stanton goes on a 5-step drop. It's a fade, deep left side single coverage, and it's caught inside the 5-yard line. A fantastic reception made by Brown. Of the 2 Browns, that's Jerron Brown, the one with experience. 35-yard connection singled up by Xavier Rhodes. And Brown brings it in. Wonderful, wonderful catch.
Now Xavier Rhodes, he's in the right position. He just has to get his head turned around a little bit more quickly to the ball. He let Brown come underneath him and win the body position. So Xavier Rhodes about 90% right on that play. He just has to finish it.
Cardinals' second offense against the Vikings' first defense. Stanton gives the ball to Taylor, tries the middle, and Harrison Smith, the safety, comes knifing through to hit him down on the shins. No gain. It'll be 2nd and goal. There is defensive coordinator George Edwards, 17th year in the NFL, formerly linebackers coach in 2012 and 2013 with the Dolphins, defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills and Miami Dolphins years ago. 2nd and goal, Cardinals trailing 10-7, 2nd quarter action, TCF Bank Stadium. 4.5 minutes to go. Stanton puts Ted Ginn Jr. in motion. 2nd and goal from the 3. They go back to Taylor, and he goes right back to the ground. That time it was Chad Greenway coming in from the right side of the offensive formation. No gain. Harrison Smith, no gain. Chad Greenway, no gain. 3rd and goal.
That's Chad Greenway in the line of scrimmage, just getting underneath the big tight end and knifing in, like you said, Paul, creating a dog pile in the back. So Great penetration by Greenway. We're starting to see these linebackers get moved around, or they're in different positions. And Greenway, we've known Greenway for a long time, has that athletic ability and that flexibility. Great to see him on that play.
Stanton shotgun, Vikings first defense against the Cardinals backup offense. Handoff goes to Taylor. Hit at the 3, falls ahead to the 1. He did not get in. That time it was Chad Greenway, who's led the Minnesota Vikings in tackles 6 consecutive years. It's 4th and goal for the Cardinals, and Bruce Arians will go for the touchdown.
What a great read by Chad Greenway. As soon as he saw the guard fold around, he knew it was a run and came up in run support. So I think the whole entire defense, you expect pass on a 3rd down situation like that, Paul. Greenway wasn't fooled. He read his keys. He believed what he saw, came up and made a big play.
It's 4th and goal for the Cardinals. Couple of tight ends left, offset eye right. Stanton, play action, looking right, flushed out to the right, fires right, and it is caught for an Arizona Cardinals touchdown on 4th down. A laser pass by Drew Stanton, and that one goes to tight end Daniel Fells. A first-year guy from UC Irvine. Touchdown, Arizona Cardinals. Let's take a peek.
And you see Daniel Fells leaking out. Greenway is on top of him in good body position. Oof. Boy, he just gets up there with that 6'8" frame and just picks it off the top of Greenway's head. So 2 big completions by this Arizona offense on this drive, Paul, where we've had Viking defenders right in the right spot, just unable to make a play on the ball. So they did a great job. The Vikings defense did getting Arizona to have to go to a 4th down and go for it on 4th down, just not converting when they have an opportunity.
Drew Stanton had a touchdown pass last week against the Texans. Now he has one against the Vikings. Flag on this extra point try. 2 flags. Drew Stanton with a couple of preseason touchdowns against 0 interceptions. False start Cardinals. How about this? A 38-yard point after touchdown try. So let me get this straight. Blair Walsh kicks a field goal from 21 yards and we get 3. Yet their guy Jay Feely has to hit from 38 for 1.
I know. Don't try to find any logic in that.
Okay.
But although in this case, if with this false start, if they put it, I guess they're going to mark it on the kickoff.
False start. Offense, number 98. That 5-yard penalty will be added on the kickoff.
Okay. Well, then why can't you just false start every time?
Well, why? Because you'd be kicking from your own goal line eventually.
Try to draw somebody off.
You can't intentionally draw a defender off sides.
I understand. Extra point try, 33-yarder by Jay Feely is good. And after Drew Stanton throws a touchdown pass to Daniel Fells, the Cardinals have taken a 14-10 lead, 3:05 to go in the first half. 11 plays, 59 yards, took 6 minutes, 7 seconds to give the road team the lead. Tonight's Getting Social is presented by the Minnesota State Fair. This one is from @TheDaveSwanson. That's exactly why Sherrills makes the team every year. Might have been after his punt return of 32 yards. Hashtag beat the Cardinals, hashtag Skull, hashtag Vikings. Don't miss the Great Minnesota Get-Together. It begins next Thursday, August 21st through Labor Day.
You know, Paul, I think you look at any team and you look at a Marcus Sherrills, that defines the team. It's these guys that you pick up late in rounds in the draft. Guys like Audie Cole that you pick up late that play well. Guys like Heath Farwell was years ago, undrafted free agent coming out of college. Those are the guys that can make an impact on the team. And if you can get just a couple of them to contribute like a Marcus Sherrills, man, it really provides depth.
Sherrills with a punt return touchdown last year. He had a 32-yard punt return tonight, making his preseason debut. He also had 5 tackles, Marcus Sherrills. Now, after the false start on the PAT, Jay Feely's kickoff backed up to the 30-yard line. Take a peek at Marcus Sherrills, formerly of the University of Minnesota, also played high school football in Rochester. Joe Banyard is back for the Vikings to return the kick. Cordero Patterson, arguably the best kick returner in the NFL after just 1 season, has not returned a kick during the preseason. Not sure if he will next week when we go to Kansas City.
I don't know if you'll see him in the regular season either, Paul.
For the 3rd preseason game, really. Here's Jay Feely's kick. Kind of a line drive. Banyard with a good opportunity to do some damage. 1 yard deep. Near side to the 5, to the 10, to the 15, to the 20. Gets out to the 25. Moves to the 30. Feely pushes him out of bounds at the 42. Flag on the play. I knew by that bad Jay Feely kick, a competent kick returner had the opportunity to do some significant damage That was a 44-yard return by Joe Banyard.
Offside kicking team, number 32. That 5-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
So Cordero Patterson had 2 kick return touchdowns last year, and you say you think he might not do it in the regular season?
I don't think he's going to get a steady diet of it. I think you need an opportunity or a chance or a spot in the game when you really need him, a la Adrian Peterson his rookie year against the Chicago Bears. But I really think he's becoming too valuable a piece to this offense that you're going to risk him on the kick return. I think he'll be used sparingly, but I just don't think he's going to be back there the entire season or a lot.
Cordero averaged 34.2 yards per kick return last year for the Vikings. Make that 32.4. #1 kick return average in the history of Vikings football. Castle stays in until the end of the half. Back to pass. Wheels out right. Caught by Kyle Rudolph at the 36-yard line. Kyle Rudolph hauled that one in on Rashad Johnson, a 6-year safety from Alabama. And that's a Vikings first down. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Cardinals 37. 2.5 minutes to go in the first half. Arizona leads 14-10. That was a connection of 14 yards.
Yeah, and that's typical. That's the offense that we're going to see. You saw Jerick McKinnon down the field deep, saw the shallow crosser, and then right in the middle was Kyle Rudolph. So a 3-level to the flat, and nice job by Castle picking out Rudolph.
Rudy, 4 catches, 89 yards and a touchdown. Castle on first down, dump over the middle, caught Asiata with a bit of space. Turns down the field between the hash marks across the 35, stopped at the 30-yard line, gain of 7. And that takes us to the 2-minute warning. The Vikings' first offense still in the game, and we'll play the game until the end of the first half. After that, we expect Teddy take 2. Arizona 14, Minnesota 10 from TCF Bank Stadium on a muggy Saturday night on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. It's Minnesota Vikings preseason football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Here is the Sanford Health Report. Adrian Peterson, you just saw him. He's not playing tonight, but it has nothing to do with injury. Linval Joseph out with a leg injury. Hopefully he can make it back for that St. Louis season opener. Josh Robinson hamstring, misses a 2nd consecutive game. Likewise for Robert Blanton, also out with a hamstring. Health report presented by Sanford Health. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine. Castle back to pass, fires over the middle, caught. Greg Jennings at the 20 in stride. And he's hit at the 15, falls ahead to the 14 on a quick slant. Castle to Greg Jennings, gain of 16. 1:45 to go in the first half. Cards lead by 4.
In our history, Paul, how many times have we seen Jennings do that against us?
Yeah, from Favre.
In a Favre Green Bay uniform, and that's a nice job by Castle adjusting to what the Cardinals gave him. A game of a blitz, really all out. There was no deep middle safety.
Yeah.
So if Jennings would have been able to break free, it would have been a touchdown right up the middle. So nice job by Jennings, nice adjustment by Castle, and Paul's looking very good right now.
Castle shotgun. He's 11 of 14, 152 yards and a TD. He'll fade left, back left to the end zone, incomplete, no flag. Jerome Simpson, the intended receiver. Back left to the end zone. He was covered by Brian McCann, a 5th-year cornerback from Southern Methodist University. Again, the Vikings' first offense played the entire first half. Likewise for the first defense. Now, the first defense permitted Arizona to get down to like the 3. And then Arizona ran it 3 consecutive plays. Greenway made 2 good plays and Smith made 1. Then the Cardinals got in on 4th down, but the Vikings still did some good defensive things inside the 5-yard line. Drew Stanton with a touchdown pass. 2nd and 10 from the 14. Castle with a handoff out of the shotgun to rookie Jerick McKinnon. He tries to get wide and can't. He is trapped for a tackle for loss. It is Anthony Walters in his 4th year from Delaware. Loss of 4. Timeout on the field. Now Jerick McKinnon in his debut last week against the Oakland Raiders, Pete, Jerick McKinnon carried it 12 times for 45 yards. And he also was targeted once but had 0 receptions. McKinnon at this stage of his National Football League career, 3rd-round pick from Georgia Southern, he looks in training camp or in these games markedly more comfortable between the tackles than he does when he tries to circumnavigate the defense.
I totally agree. I think in the first game that we saw against the Raiders, he did try to bounce some things outside that were not designed to go that way, and that's the NFL for you. You think there's room outside, and it closes quickly with the speed. So he did a nice job running between the tackles today, Paul. We've seen him flexed out as a wide receiver in that area more than we have at the dot at running back. So with Asiata out now, him really being the dot running back, he may get some more carries.
3rd and 13. Castle out of the shotgun, trailing by 4 deep in the first half. Dump right, caught McKinnon. Tries to shake on a Cardinal, and he can't. Falls ahead to the 15. Buchanan on the tackle for the Arizona Cardinals. Another timeout on the field. That'll be a timeout taken by the Cardinals. The Vikings have 1 timeout remaining. Arizona has 2. And Blair Walsh will make that 1 of 2 on field goal tries tonight. He will come on to try to kick the Vikings to within 1. Pick up your 2014 Vikings yearbook, complete with an exclusive story on Adrian Peterson and everything you want to know about the 2014 season. It's available right now at VikingsYearbook.com. That is VikingsYearbook.com. Blair Walsh hit a 21-yard field goal. He missed from 51. Blair, over his last 7 tries from 50 yards and beyond. Regular season last year, preseason this year is 2 of 7. He's 0 of 2 this year. This will be a 34-yard try right hash. Colin Leffler is the long snapper in his 11th year from Texas. Jeff Lockhold, snap spot. And Blair Walsh nails that one, splits the uprights. 50 seconds to go in the first half. Arizona 14, Vikings 13. Now Blair Walsh may be a little inaccurate right now from 50 and beyond, but leg strength is not a question. This is from pregame today. Take a peek, Pete. From 70 yards.
Yeah, he's getting a good run up, and like you said, Paul, there's no. That's amazing, and that
Bang!
Those kinds of things can come into play if you fair catch a punt at the end of the game. You're actually going to have the ability to have a free kick. So it has happened. It happened in Lakeville in a high school game. I think it was the first time I've heard about it in I don't know, maybe my whole career. But Walsh, he missed that 52-yarder, Paul. That ball hit 2/3 of the way up the left upright.
Yep.
So, like you said, no question about the leg strength. You don't want to start overthinking things. And again, I know Greg Coleman's down there, and I'm sure he has plenty of things to say and comment on the situation. But for Walsh, no reason to panic. He's in good shape. You just got to get out here on this turf, I think, and get yourself more relaxed, more familiar with the settings, and hopefully he'll settle down.
There is probably the 2019 version of the Vikings cheerleaders. Some lovely cherubs joining us tonight at TCF Bank Stadium. Walsh, one of the best in the NFL at banging the ball out of the end zone. He'll kick it left to right as we see it at TCF Bank Stadium. Extremely high kick. Golden lets it fly out of the end zone. Ben Lieber, 50 seconds to go in the first half. Cardinals lead 14-13. What were your overview-like opinions of the Vikings in the first half?
I think defensively they missed some tackles, some key tackles early, which allowed Arizona to get down the field and score. But they think they turned it around. They got better.
Ben, what about you?
Well, I think the poise of Matt Castle has really shown through. I mean, we talk about his experience all the time, and that's a huge asset for him. How many times did he feel the pressure, didn't flinch, kept his eyes downfield, jumped up in the pocket, delivered some throws, and used his feet to make a bunch of plays? So extremely impressed the way this offense has clicked under Matt Castle.
Drew Stanton with the touchdown pass tonight. Out of the shotgun, flags.
False start. Offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Hey, Ben, stick with us for a second. Probably preposterous to even think it could happen, but do you think the first team offense or defense would come out for the third quarter, or is that reserved for the third preseason game?
Yeah, I think that's reserved for the third preseason game. They've got plenty of work against the ones and the twos of Arizona in this first half, and I think both, defensively start off a little shaky, found that the extra gear and really made some plays. So I think they've got plenty of work, and they'll play more into the second half next week.
The Vikings starting defense still in the game. Stanton zipped it over the middle, bounced off the chest of a Cardinals receiver, Harrison Smith, a couple of feet from an interception. Ben Lieber just talked about Matt Castle's spectacular performance this evening. 12 of 16, 153 yards, a touchdown to Kyle Rudolph, passer rating of 125.3. There he's chatting with Scott Turner, quarterback's coach, North Turner's son, Cordero Patterson, right in front of both of them. It's 2nd and 15 from the 15. The Cardinals 15. Cardinals lead by 1. Stanton back to pass, flushed out to the right, zips it to the right, and it's caught well in advance of the first down. And on the coverage is Marcus Sherrills. The reception for Arizona hauled in by Robert Hughes, second-year running back from Notre Dame. Into the St. Louis game, September 7th, first game of the regular season. Can Teddy Bridgewater come steaming from the back of the pack as they head into the final furlong in the Sprint to St. Louis Stakes and catch Matt Castle, or is he gone?
I think Castle's gone with the performance that he's had so far today, building upon what he did last week against a Cardinal defense that is a solid group. It's a very, very tough defense. So he's performed well. The relationship with Rudolph is growing. A lot of good things are happening with Matt Castle right now. I just don't think Teddy Bridgewater will be able to overcome that lead that he has.
Each team with one timeout. Cardinals lead by 1 deep in the first half. Stanton shotgun, 3 receivers left. He looks that way. Passes left, man wide open, caught first down at the 44-yard line. A first down reception by John Brown, a third-round rookie from Pittsburgh State. 22-yard gain. He was open coming on that cross right to left. And that's a Cardinals first down with 30 seconds to go in the first half. Cardinals use a timeout.
And Brian Robinson is an inside rusher again on that play. Barr really not getting anything on the outside, so just too much time to allow the receiver to get wide open. And you know, taking another look, if John Brown catches that ball cleanly, he might still be running.
Here is the U.S. Bank coaching spotlight. Tonight the focus, Pete, is on defensive coordinator George Edwards.
Well, there's no question he's been in this league for quite some time, and his third stint as a defensive coordinator, and this is something that he's going to have to fight. It's going to be known as Zimmer's defense, but he's going to be the guy implementing it.
Stanton on first down, steps away from the pressure. Now he's hit from behind. He held onto the ball. No, he didn't. It popped out. The Cardinals have recovered the Drew Stanton fumble. Anthony Barr with a sack from the backside of Drew Stanton. There's the rookie from UCLA.
That's right. Anthony Barr just continuing on the outside to pursue. Nice job, though, attacking the ball when he has the opportunity. So that's a smart play. Sometimes these young guys just want to bring the quarterback to the ground. Barr gets that ball on the ground. So just a fantastic strip sack by Anthony Barr.
That coaching spotlight was presented by U.S. Bank, all of us serving you. Cardinals lead the Vikings by 1 on the Vikings Entertainment Network. It's halftime.
Coach Mike Zimmer, first half, 13-14, your team played, spirited football. Your thoughts about Matt Castle in the first half?
I thought Matt played well. He made
Defense got after their quarterback a little bit. Were you pleased with the effort?
Yeah, the effort was great. We just got to be smart in some situations. And, it's all learning experience. We'll get better in the second half.
Great, Coach, thanks a lot. That's head coach Mike Zimmer. Boys, back upstairs to you.
All righty, Greg. The Cardinals will receive the ball to start the second half. As the starters went in the first half, Matt Castle, 12 of 16, 153 yards and a touchdown. Passer rating of 125.3. Touchdown went to Kyle Rudolph, who caught 4 passes for 89 yards and a TD. Greg Jennings, 2 catches, 27 yards. Cordero Patterson, after 3 receptions in the Raiders game, the first preseason game, 2 catches for just 9 yards. Cordero Patterson covered up tightly by those Cardinals.
Yeah, and I think on that first series, he had an opportunity on a go route when they were blitzing, and just off his fingertips. So you had Rudolph just miss a touchdown off his fingertips, Patterson missing a big play. So again, you want to see these guys firing on all cylinders. However, what's nice to see is that there's space, that there's opportunity, and as they polish this thing up over the next couple weeks, hopefully those will be completions once we get to the regular season, Paul. So the offense looks solid. Not a lot of mistakes, no interceptions. I think the penalties have been kept down, so they look pretty solid.
Yeah. Anthony Barr had a sack, 1.5 in the preseason. Jonathan Dwyer with a rushing touchdown for Arizona. And Drew Stanton had a touchdown pass late in the first half to Daniel Fells to give the Cardinals the lead as Blair Walsh kicks the ball out of the back of the western end zone. The bird's eye view here on the simulcast from behind the Cardinals bench. We are on the south end of the stadium. The Vikings bench is on the north end of the stadium. Let's take a look at the game stats provided by Verizon. 10 penalties in the first half. The Titans and New Orleans Saints played a preseason game last night. I think they had 31 penalties.
20, I think, on New Orleans alone. So the referees, they emphasize things in the preseason, but I don't expect that once the regular season kicks in.
Here's the third quarterback for Arizona. His name is Ryan Lindley. Ryan Lindley, and a quarterback in his third year from San Diego State. He's in a battle for the third quarterback spot with rookie Logan Thomas. Rookie Logan Thomas from Virginia Tech had a fantastic game against the Texans last week, Pete. 11 of 12, 113 yards. He threw for a touchdown. They took Logan Thomas in the 4th round with the 120th pick from Virginia Tech. Ryan Lindley, we were told before the game, will play the entire second half for the Cardinals. The second Vikings defense is in. Members of the second defense hand off on 2nd and 6. And the back spurts across the 30 for a Cardinals first down. In the game for the Vikings now, some of the noteworthy players include Scott Crichton, playing right defensive end. 95 is the backup to Everson Griffin, a 3rd-round pick, 72nd overall. 6'3", 273 from Oregon State. There you see Jabari Price, a 7th-round cornerback from North Carolina who has had a terrific offseason. In fact, 3 7th-rounders for the Vikings, all with a fair chance to make the final 53. Jabari Price and defensive tackle Shamar Stephen, who led the team in tackles against Oakland. I think they have legitimate chances to make that final 53. Stephen is number 93. We will see him extensively here in the second half. Last week against the Raiders, he had 5 tackles, and that led all Vikings.
Yeah, a great play right there by Gerald Hodges, getting in there and seeing the guard pull, coming underneath and just really creating a pile, able to reach an arm through and make a tackle. So that was an elite play by Gerald Hodges, something that we need to see out of a guy who was a higher pick last year.
Hodges, second year from Penn State. Lindley, shotgun, 3-step drop, looks left, passes left, incomplete. Golden, the intended receiver. Derek Cox, formerly of the San Diego Chargers, on the coverage. Derek Cox is in an interesting spot, trying to win himself a place on the final 53. Derek Cox, with the training camp practices I've seen the last week and change, he's showing up quite nicely.
He is, and that really, I think if there's any one area where this defensive backfield from the Vikings has improved already, it's in fundamentals. And you see Derek Cox and him coming up, not trying to jump in front and really intercept the pass, but knew he was behind, pulled the arm down by the wide receiver. Great play.
Max Starks, backup right tackles, down with injury. We pause. Cards by 1 in the 3rd quarter. It's Vikings football. TCF Bank Stadium, the site. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Tonight's rookie profile is provided by Tria Orthopedic Center, the official orthopedics provider of the Minnesota Vikings. There's Anthony Barr, 9th overall pick in the most recent draft. He has a sack in tonight's game. Anthony Barr, in 2 seasons as a linebacker at UCLA, had 23.5 sacks, 10 forced fumbles, and 41.5 tackles for loss. Ryan Lindley on 3rd and 10, whips it over the middle, incomplete at the 45-yard line.
Looks like they're going to get Corey Wooten offsides.
Offside. Defense, number 99. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 3rd down.
Minnesota wide receiver Greg Jennings had a couple of receptions tonight, and he's with Ben Lieber.
Hey guys, a real quick update. Sean Prater, who went out earlier with that head injury, has now been ruled out. So we will no longer see Sean Prater in this game. But a guy that very much is with us the rest of the game is Greg Jennings. Now, Greg, there's a lot of players that are kind of known for some signature plays. Larry Fitzgerald jumping up, grabbing the football. Adrian Peterson trucking people on big plays. You seem to have this knack for running that inside slant. What is it about that play that's so effective with you?
Number one, it's a timing play, and between the quarterback and the receiver, and it's basically mano y mano. I have to beat my guy. I have to win inside. I have to make sure that I get the leverage that the quarterback needs to trust his throw and to make the quarterback right.
So earlier this week, you said that this offense, guys need to be unselfish. Where is this offense, and where are the receivers in that process?
We're still making strides. I think what will allow us to become more unselfish is truly understanding where we are in the ball game, what situations we're in, and understanding the concepts and what the defense is presenting. Because dictating with the defense, what the defense shows, it dictates who's going to be open, whose turn it is, so to speak, who's going to get the opportunity. And it's about making sure you do your job, to get that guy
Feel the
open.
hands to the face.
Well, it seemed like tonight you guys were very effective in the first half, and it seemed like guys were being very unselfish. And hopefully that's the type of offense that we can see the rest of the season. So congrats on a good start to this preseason, and best of luck the rest of the way.
Appreciate it. Always a pleasure. You're pretty good at this too, by the way.
Thank you, man.
The affable Greg Jennings, couple of catches tonight. Last year for the Minnesota Vikings, he had 68 catches, 804 yards, 4 touchdowns, all from Matt Castle. Greg's biggest game as a Viking last year took place December 15th at Mall of America Field. 11 catches, 163 yards, and a touchdown. Handoff right. The Cardinals moved into Vikings territory during the interview as they run at 5 yards. And the tackle is by Jamarcus Sanford, running with the 2s. In the second half, Jamarca, his former 7th-round pick from Ole Miss, has started a bevy of games for the Minnesota Vikings. Missed last week's game due to injury. In fact, he missed a fair amount of minicamp and training camp with injury. So Jamarcus Sanford playing with the 2s to begin the second half. 11.5 minutes to go. The Cardinals lead by 1. Lindley with a handoff and stood up at the line of scrimmage, then falling ahead for a short game. The tailback for the Arizona Cardinals. That is a gain of 3 yards. And running the ball for the Arizona Cardinals is Robert Hughes, second-year tailback from Pete Bursage's alma mater, Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame suspending 4 guys for cheating on academics. So the college season right around the corner. Ben Lieber will be all over that this year.
And doing a great job, according to Greg Jennings. He's a natural. 3rd and 2, handoff. Hughes hit by Jasper Brinkley after a scamper of 2 yards. Hughes and the Cardinals just shy of the first down. They need to get to the 35, came up just a bit short. Jasper Brinkley, perhaps the favorite to be the starting linebacker in Mike Zimmer / Jordan Edwards 4-3 base, playing in the second half. Audie Cole, I thought, had a really good game last week against the Raiders. Audie played in the first half. Still a lot of position deciding to do with some of these Vikings first teamers, including middle linebacker. 4th and short. Lindley hands off to Hughes, the up back, and he plunges ahead for a gain of 2 or 3 yards, getting by Shamar Stephen. And Hughes falls ahead for a Cardinals first down. And when you talk about the the middle linebacker in a 4-3 defense, in a league where 60 to 65% of the time teams play nickel with the extra DB, how significant is that middle linebacker spot for the Minnesota Vikings, knowing Anthony Barr and Chad Greenway will get a bevy of the reps?
Well, and you know Anthony Barr can play multiple positions, so you're still going to need 2 true linebackers to play. Audie Cole was in earlier, I believe, on a nickel down, so he's getting his chances to play a little bit. As we see Jasper Brinkley getting up in there and making a nice hit, nice pressure on the quarterback. So, Paul, you look at some of these guys. Kyle Rudolph, I think, has come into camp in a little different condition, a little different shape. Jasper Brinkley, I think, falls into that category as well, and he's taking advantage of every opportunity presented to him. And I think that he will be cemented as a starting Mike linebacker this season.
Jasper in his 6th year from South Carolina. Played for the Vikings in that fantastic 2009 season where they lost in the NFC title game at New Orleans. A lot of great memories made that year. Jasper had to play a lot at the end of the year after E.J. Henderson broke his leg on Sunday Night Football against the Arizona Cardinals. Jasper played for the Arizona Cardinals last year. Hughes up the middle to the 26 after a spurt of 7 yards. Shamar Stephen, a rookie from UConn, in on the tackle. Again, he led the Vikings in tackles last week against the Oakland Raiders. Shamar Stephen, a 7th-round pick 220 out of UConn. 3rd and 3 from the Vikings 26. Arizona leads 14-13. Pete Bursage, Paul Allen, Ben Lieber, Greg Coleman from TCF Bank Stadium on a sticky Saturday night preseason game 2. Lindley puts Golden in motion, goes out of the shotgun. Jamarcus Sanford sprints to the line of scrimmage. Handoff goes to Hughes. And between the tackles and between the hash marks, falls ahead for a gain of 3. I'll make that a gain of 2. And that was on 3rd down. So now it'll be 4th and short. The Cardinals are 2 for 2 this evening on 4th down conversions. They got a first down on this possession, and nearing the end of the first half on 4th and goal from the 1, Drew Stanton threw a touchdown pass back right at the end zone to reserve tight end Daniel Fells, singled up against Chad Greenway. Ryan Lindley, the quarterback, third quarterback used tonight by Arizona. He'll hand the ball off to the tailback, and this time they'll try the left side, and achieving another first down. The Arizona Cardinals go with Jalen Parmalee, a fourth-year running back from Toledo. These cardiac Cardinals, 3 of 3 on fourth down conversions. Midway through the third quarter, 7:40 and counting to go. We are at Kansas City next Saturday night. Third preseason game against Jamal Charles, Alex Smith, and Andy Reid's Kansas City Chiefs. Single set, 2 receivers right, and Lindley hands the ball off to Parmalee. He thought about the right side, angled up the middle, hit and stopped for a gain of 2 yards. One of the Vikings in on the tackle is Corey Wooten, a 5th-year defensive lineman from Northwestern. Spent his first 4 years with the Chicago Bears. He's a backup to Everson Griffin. Scott Crichton, also a backup defensive end. Shamar Stephan, the rookie from UConn's name we keep calling, is a defensive tackle. 2nd and 8 from the 20. Cardinals lead 14-13. Third quarter action. Lindley's under center. Single set, short drop, zip right, caught at the 11-yard line. And on the reception for the Arizona Cardinals is Walt Powell, a rookie receiver from Murray State, covered by Marcus Sherrills and touched down by Marcus Sherrills. That's a gain of 9. First down for the Cardinals from the Vikings 11.
Now Marcus Sherrills one-on-one on the outside, really doing a nice job reading the play. Got himself in position, just didn't make a play on the ball. So again, it's kind of what we've seen all night tonight out of this defensive backfield, Paul. They've been in the right spots. We've seen it earlier with Xavier Rhodes just not making a play on the ball, and another case right there. So DB's in the right spot, but just not able to come up with the football.
Offset eye right. Lindley play action, wheels it out to the right. It's caught at the 5-yard line and leaping near the goal line, but missing for the Arizona Cardinals is Andre Hardy, a first-year tight end from Cal State Fullerton. Brandon Watts on the tackle, 7th-round linebacker from Georgia Tech. Boy, the Cardinals are big on these backup tight ends from Southern California small schools.
Yeah, they are.
Daniel Fells, tight end from UC Irvine, touchdown. That tight end's from Cal State Fullerton, just up 57. Pretty close to the stadium where the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim play. Lindley with a handoff. And a short gain, if any gain. Jasper Brinkley tackles the tailback. And running the ball that time, Robert Hughes, 2nd year from Notre Dame. Jasper Brinkley.
Now Jasper Brinkley knifing up inside, coming off the outside of the defensive end. Just got to keep the head up, try to wrap it up to get that running back, keep him from falling forward, because in the red zone like this, every inch counts. So just a big change in this Cardinal offense, Paul. They really went from throwing the ball to really concentrating on running it down here.
3rd and goal from the 1. Handoff to the tailback. Hit at the goal line. Now everybody's on the grind, and it's a touchdown for the Arizona Cardinals, Robert Hughes. Touchdown to Robert Hughes, extending the Cardinals' lead to 2013. 4:54 to go in the third quarter. Hughes right up the gut.
Now and again, here it is. It's just a counter play with the guard pulling around, leading the way, also with the tight end. So you had plenty of bodies. A student body on the outside, able to push that pile far enough to get in for the touchdown. And I think for Zimmer and for Edwards on the defense, that's going to be the most disappointing thing about this drive, is that Arizona really didn't make anything fancy. They're going to review the play real quick, but nothing fancy. They just pounded the ball up and down the field, and you can kind of see the look on Zimmer's face as he's standing on the sideline, not liking the fact that the Viking defense really was taken to task by this physical Arizona Cardinals offense, Paul.
All touchdowns are reviewed. They are going to review this Hughes touchdown, and so will we. Here comes Hughes up the middle. There's Corey Wooten taking him on. And
yeah, I can't see anything.
No, we have no shot. There's the UC Irvine tight end Fells, taking part in every potential Arizona Cardinals touchdown. He caught one. There's the ball over the stripe.
Let's see, the ball. It's somewhere in this area.
No,
here.
You're wrong. Go up. Go north and right.
Ah,
there you are.
Look at that.
What kind of circle is that?
Good eye. Well,
You're no John Madden on the telestrator.
Well, you know, I
but
think
you're quite the analyst. But according to Greg Jennings, not as good as Ben Lieber.
But I do think that this telestrator was in use when Madden was starting in the booth too. So,
well, the real question is, was Hughes' knee down or was his elbow down as he extended the ball over the goal stripe? Tense times here at TCF Bank Stadium in the second preseason game. The Cardinals unofficially lead 20-13. When the Vikings first team defense was in, there were some problems and some inconsistencies. But overall, anybody stick out for you with the Vikings defense, Peter?
You know, I really think that Hayes stuck out and Ben Lieber. You know that the coaches on the sideline can't be happy with Arizona's just really kind of running the ball down their throat.
Yeah, Arizona's doing a great job right now of keeping them off balance, using the running backs out of the backfield
field
in the pass game, and then getting the running backs involved running up the middle. But, you know, there are some good spots. I think Chad Greenway played very, very well in run support. You know, gave up that one touchdown, kind of got out-bodied there, but I thought he played very well, and I thought Sharif Floyd was relentless tonight and showed a lot of attitude out there.
Ben, the Vikings offense averaged 24 points a game last year. The way it's constructed now, Norv Turner is the offensive coordinator. You think we can score more than 24 a game this year?
Without a doubt, man. Without a doubt. I think this offense is primed to score a lot of points.
Extra point try. And it's good by Jay Feely. The Arizona Cardinals lead the Minnesota Vikings 21-13. Third quarter action on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back to Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. There is backup offensive lineman Tiny Richardson wired for sound this evening.
There we go, Cheryl. There we go.
Tiny Richardson on the microphone. Big old Tiny Richardson.
Yeah, 6'6", 330. Aptly named.
It's like a walking oxymoron. They call him Tiny's behemoth. Exclusive content available at Vikings.com. You won't find that anywhere else. It's your source for everything purple. Vikings.com. Here's Joe Banyard trying to get around the right side. Flags all over the place. Banyard out of bounds at the 25-yard line. Speaking of Vikings.com, the content manager Mike Wobschall has managed to strong-arm his way into the television booth, like he does the radio booth during the entire regular season, to chat Vikings football at Vikings.com.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Return team. Penalties half the distance to the goal. First down. Timeout.
The most popular man to hail from Waseca, Wabi, chatting at Vikings.com. Our guy wired for sound, Tiny Richardson's in the game. Let's see what he does when we return. This is Minnesota Vikings football. It's Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. For the largest selection of new Vikings novelty items and apparel, look no farther than the Vikings Locker Room store. Visit the new location on the east side of Mall of America or visit VikingsLockerRoom.com. Ben Lieber with Chad Greenway shortly, but it's Teddy take two. Teddy Bridgewater, rookie from Louisville. High formation behind him, and Teddy will hand the ball to Joe Banyard, tries the right side, gets himself maybe 2 yards. Let's kick it down to Ben Lieber with longtime friend Chad Greenway.
That's right. Good friend and ex-teammate Chad Greenway. Early in the game, you got called for the illegal contact penalty. I know it's been kind of a point of emphasis, especially in the preseason for the NFL. It was kind of like a confusing call for me. What did the ref tell you, and what have they told you guys behind the scenes about those particular plays?
Yeah, obviously they were putting emphasis on in the preseason, and they just said you got to have no contact basically after 5. And you know, I thought I had established my ground, which you can do that as a defender, and I thought he ran into me and pushed, but from behind he couldn't really see that, and so he threw the flag and was kind of said, "We're making a point to call that."
I want to go back to last year. Defensively, you guys kind of struggled in situational football, closing out the ends of games and stuff like that. A new staff comes in, but What did you guys learn as a defense, and what did you learn individually from going through those growing pains last year?
Well, I think just the amount we work at now is so much more than we did before. 2-minute drills, end of quarter, end of half in the game. Just third down defense is so big in this league, and I think when you see the stats and understand that how many games we could have won or been in or changed the game by just a play, it's huge. We're putting more of an emphasis on it. We're trying to get better at it, and I think the pressure we're going to bring is going to help us.
Now I want to run by an interesting stat for you. I know you and Scott Studwell, who leads this organization and tackles, you guys kind of go back and forth with that, I think, a little bit of that pride of being the leading tacklers. Now, you're a ways away from him when it comes to total tackles, but something that maybe you didn't know, you actually lead all Vikings all time in tackles per game at 9.7. So you go back to Studwell and you tell him that.
That's a good stat. I'll use that one on him. But yeah, I got to play like 18 years to catch Studwell. He's so far ahead. But what a great player and a guy to I'd love to be synonymous with him and the kind of player he was. So a lot of respect for that man.
I can't wait to see you play in this defense. A lot of high aspirations for you and this team. So best of luck to you, bud.
Yeah, thanks, bud. Good job.
Nice job, Ben. Teddy, 2 for 2. Looked left, saw nothing. Feet started to get a little happy. Bridgewater fired out right to Joe Banyard for a gain of 8. Teddy Bridgewater, the 32nd overall pick in the most recent draft. The Vikings traded with the Seattle Seahawks to get up to that 32 spot. There you see him look left, saw nothing, fired right, caught Banyard. Pass was a little high. Teddy is now 2 of 2. His first completion went for 15 yards to Adam Thielen. Overall, he's thrown for 23 yards. A week after, he went 6 of 13, 49 yards, sacked a couple of times. Teddy back to pass. Teddy take 2, zips it left, caught. Adam Thielen at the 39-yard line. A connection of 9 yards. Teddy Bridgewater, Pete Bursich.
Now he's looking good and decisive in the pocket. He sees the blitz, knows he has one-on-one on the outside, and Thielen running a good route like he has all season. So Thielen getting that cornerback to turn his back, turns it up. Nice route by Thielen on the outside. Good decision by Teddy. I'm glad that North Turner and the offense is letting Teddy go ahead and air it out. I know it's a preseason game. I know we're down by 8. You got about 2 minutes left to go in the third quarter here. You got to let Teddy do his thing and evaluate him. So I'm happy to see that they're letting him step back in the pocket and throw the ball around.
It's 1st and 10. Bridgewater hands the ball off to Joe Banyard. Gets loose left side across the 45-50. Joe Banyard outrunning the Cardinals defense 30, 20, 15. And he's taken down at the 5, Joe Banyard. Joe Banyard from Teddy Bridgewater on a handoff. Makes it 1st and goal. Vikings trailing 21-13. Deep in the third quarter. That run by Joe Banyard. 56 yards, and here it is.
And great patience by Banyard. Sees the hole open, cuts it back to space, and the safety from Arizona just takes a bad angle. So Banyard all he's missing is that extra gear, that 4th gear to pull himself away, just like Adrian Peterson did in the opening game or the opening play of last year's opener. So Banyard showing some nice vision, nice cutback, and now the Vikings are in scoring position.
1st and goal from the 5. Handoff Banyard, stutter steps to the left, lowers the helmet at the 5, falls ahead to the 3, gain of 2. 2nd and goal from the 5. Teddy Bridgewater last week, I felt in watching back all of his plays, kind of analyzing them critically, I think he left some rushing yards on the field. I think there were a couple of times where Bridgewater is so conscious of staying in the pocket and completing passes, he could have run himself to at least 15 yards on one play when he checked down to backup tight end Higgins. In his collegiate career at Louisville, as a freshman he ran for 4 touchdowns, but as a sophomore and junior a combined 2. Teddy under center, puts a receiver in motion, single set, 2nd and goal from the 5. Handoff Banyard, tries the right, stutter steps back up the middle, hit at the 2-yard line. And Joe Banyard is hit and taken down at about the 2 by Glenn Carson, a rookie linebacker from Penn State. That's the end of the quarter. Vikings are trailing 21-13, but led by Teddy Bridgewater. They're threatening on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Teddy Take 2 is courtesy of the Vikings Entertainment Network. Serving as one of the largest radio networks in the NFL, the Vikings Radio Network reaches all of Minnesota and extends into 5 states. To find the affiliate near you, visit Vikings.com. Pete Bursich, Paul Allen, and Greg Coleman call all the games for you at FM 100.3 The Fan and Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. Not only via the simulcast in the preseason, but beginning September 7th in St. Louis. Give us a listen. It is 3rd and goal from the 3. Teddy Bridgewater, 3 of 3. In his second start as a pro, is out of the shotgun, 2 receivers left. Vikes trail by 8. Teddy, fade right for Jerome Simpson, incomplete. Single coverage. Teddy Bridgewater to Jerome Simpson, no good. And now Blair Walsh will come in to try to kick the Vikings to within 5. Blair hit a field goal earlier in the game from 21, but missed from 51. Here's Teddy.
Yeah, I think it was the right decision. He just threw it to the wrong shoulder, and you see Jerome Simpson when he gets up, he points to the upfield shoulder behind him. And so Teddy just a little bit, a little bit inaccurate with that one. Probably would like to see that one a little closer to the end zone, to the line of scrimmage, so to speak, so Simpson could come back for it.
Walsh from 21, high snap, Locke puts it down, and Blair Walsh knocks it through. Arizona leads the Minnesota Vikings 21-16. Final quarter from TCF Bank Stadium. It's Vikings football. Welcome back to Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Please tune in to Fox Sports North all season for Vikings programming, including Vikings Connected, the new Vikings social media topic show, which debuts Sunday, September 8th. And is hosted by our partner on the field, Ben Lieber, who, according to Greg Jennings, has already emerged as a better sideline analyst than the likes of Aaron Andrews, Michelle Tafoya, and Pam Oliver. And you'll be hearing extensively from Ben Lieber during the fourth quarter, where the Cardinals lead 21-16. Blair Walsh with an angling kick to his left and a touchback. The kick returner goes to a knee. Cardinals with the ball and a 5-point lead on the Vikings Entertainment Network. It's Minnesota Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Here's the Arby's look ahead. Take a peek at the schedule. We debut at St. Louis against that very nice defensive line, which includes Robert Quinn, who had 19 sacks last year, Michael Brockers, rookie Aaron Donald, and Chris Long. The home opener with tickets available September 14th. Vikings.com for tickets against the New England Patriots. Second half of the schedule, we close at TCF Bank Stadium against the Chicago Bears. Key 3-game home stretch there beginning November 23rd against Green Bay. After that, Carolina and the New York Jets at home. The schedule was presented by Arby's. We have the meats. Cardinals with the lead. It's a 5-point lead and the ball. A 3-yard run just into the fourth quarter. Let's go down to the sidelines. Here's Ben Lieber with Kyle Rudolph.
Yeah, Kyle had a big part of this offense and big part of this game today. 4 catches, 89 yards, 1 touchdown, but you should have had 2.
I know. It's great to come out here and play the way we did on offense, but I think that'll be the play I watch most over the next couple of days. Just we got the look we wanted, and Matt made a great check, and I got my release clean, and it just came too flat. So that Matt and I will get on the same page. That's why we're out here in the preseason doing this kind of stuff, and that'll definitely be the one that I think about the next couple of days.
So go back to last season. Obviously, a big part of this offense. You break your foot and have to sit out. You've dealt with injury before with your hamstring. How difficult is it as a player to watch your teammates go out there and perform and know that you have to sit on the sidelines and you can't help?
As a former player, you know this just as well as anyone. The hardest thing for us is not being able to be out there with the guys. And when you have a season-ending injury and there's really no light at the end of the tunnel, it's hard every day. But I was able to have the great rehab that we have here, and be able to get back out there this spring, and then now to be out there on the field with these guys it's a blessing, and you really appreciate it when it's taken away.
Well, not only did you just get back, but you showed enough, and you showed enough promise that they gave you a 5-year extension with this ball club. When you got that contract, was that a sense of relief for you, or kind of a heightened sense of responsibility?
A little bit of both. Definitely a sense of relief to know, going into the last year of my old deal, that they think highly enough of me to want to keep me here for another 5 years, and it also adds a sense of responsibility because now you're one of the veteran guys. Although it's only my 4th year, you become one of the veterans in the locker room.
All right, thanks a lot, man. I can't wait to see what you do in this offense. Thank you.
Ben.
Good job, Ben. The Cardinals punted, and it went out of bounds. Vikings ball trailing by 5, fourth quarter on the Vikings Entertainment Network. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Here's more Tiny wired for sound.
Here we go, Rudy. Here we go, Rudy. Good job, Rudy. Hey, Rudy. Hey, 2. I like it, baby.
12:53 to go in the game. Teddy Bridgewater 3 of 4 passing, make it 4 of 5. Dump right, caught Joe Banyard at the 30, turns it up to the 33-yard line near side. And that is a gain of a yard, making it 2nd and 9 for the Vikings, trailing the Cardinals 21-16.
You know, these young guys like Tiny that are mic'd up, Paul, they must just keep that in the back of their mind, because having been on some sidelines myself, I've never heard guys just not talk a little more colorful, if you will, Paul.
Bridgewater, the quarterback, goes play action. Deep drop for Teddy. Fires over the middle. Caught Adam Thielen at the Vikings 47-yard line for a Minnesota Vikings first down. Teddy Bridgewater had a very conservative offense given to him in the Oakland game. Not much was asked of him. Norb's opening it up just a little bit here for him, isn't he? 14-yard gain.
And a great job on Thielen here by running the route. As you can see him get some space. So a great route run by Thielen. And also for Teddy, he had a linebacker breathing right down his throat and was able to stand tall in the pocket and deliver a strike. So great poise by the young man.
Teddy Bridgewater 5 of 6, 47 yards. Back to pass. Make it 6 of 7. Bridgewater to Thielen, far side into Arizona territory to the 37. Bridgewater to Thielen for 15 yards. It's Teddy.
Yeah, we might be seeing Chris Walsh, Brad Johnson version 2.0 here. This is the time of the game when, if you have someone like Thielen, who I think is really cementing himself a spot on this roster, and Teddy Bridgewater, a first-round draft pick with a lot of talent, they should be taking this game over.
Adam Thielen, 4 catches, 53 yards, 1st and 10. Bridgewater wants more. Play action. Now he floats out to the left. Dump. Caught. And it's caught by Allen Reisner at the 30. Turns it up to the 25. And he's taken down at the 24. Teddy Bridgewater eluding pressure to make a play.
Well, Paul, you mentioned it earlier that he's had opportunities to run and has chosen to stay in the pocket and still deliver the football. And right there, he shows again he's elusive enough and strong enough to get out of the grasp of a defensive lineman and extend the play, which he does, and get it down the field. So nice job by Bridgewater, doing what a quarterback should do.
Teddy Bridgewater, 7 of 8, 75 yards, offset eye left, movement on the line, no flags, handoff. Banyard shakes a tackle in the backfield, and then is corralled at the 24-yard line, no gain or a marginal gain. Trying to follow the blocking of undrafted rookie left tackle Tiny Richardson. Mic'd up this evening. He's wired for sound, courtesy of the Vikings Entertainment Network. And it is 2nd and 10 from the 24. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget you can listen to yours truly, Pete Bursich and Greg Coleman, all Viking season on the flagship for Vikings football, FM 100.3 The Fan. Also heard in the Twin Cities via Twin Cities News Talk, AM 1130. We call all of the games for you on the Vikings radio network, an expansive radio network. Is Teddy Bridgewater back to pass, left side, and it is incomplete. Adam Thielen, middle of the end zone, left side. Oh, Bridgewater with a perfect pass. Thielen with a drop in the end zone that would have given the Vikings the lead.
Oh, what a beautiful throw by Bridgewater. Just a nice, tight spiral over the top,
Adam.
puts it right where it needs to be.
Come on, Adam.
Yeah, and Thielen will be thinking about that one for the next, hopefully not for too long, but he'll be watching that one tomorrow morning in the film room and not liking it. So
we just wanted to be hooked on a Thielen.
Oh, my God.
Meanwhile, Bridgewater looking fantastic. 3rd and 10 from the 24. Bridgewater empty backfield, shotgun trips right. Fires over the middle, caught Jarius Wright in stride, first down. Bridgewater with a bullet to Jarius Wright. Inside the 15, stopped at the 11. A connection of 13. And it's 1st and 10 Vikings from the Cardinals 11-yard line. We're making a Vikings Entertainment Network decision here. Victor the Viking, during the last pause, challenged yours truly to the ALS Bucket Challenge, which is en vogue all over Twitter and all over the country. And I have 24 hours to do it. So we are arranging for 4 cups of ice to be delivered to the booth. And I'm going to need 4 of you to pour it on me if that's okay. Pete, are you in?
I'm in.
They're chanting. Teddy takes the snap, rolls right, incomplete, threw it behind the intended receiver. That was Dom. Check that. The intended receiver there, Zach Line. Zach Line, second-year hybrid from Southern Methodist University.
You know, Paul, you take a look, and another interesting thing besides watching Teddy go out here and do his thing is just we're 8 minutes left to go in this fourth quarter, and Jerome Simpson is still out there. We haven't seen a lot of Jarius Wright. We've seen a ton of Adam Thielen. So you wonder, with Simpson's future being a little bit cloudy, and you wonder how that's going to play out. And the other thing too is why haven't we seen much of Jarius Wright in these first couple preseason games?
Bridgewater back to pass, wheels it out to the left, incomplete, flag. Reisner, the intended receiver, pass interference, Cardinals. First and goal, Vikings from the 5, trailing by 5.
Now
Pass interference. Defense, number 33. Penalty will be forced at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Paul, and getting a chance to look at the replay, Paul, if this is regular season against the first team defense, I think that ball would have been going the other way. He just waited a little bit too long to make that decision, and you know, that looked like a clean play to me. You hate to see a defender get his body in the right position like that and make a great play and get called for pass interference.
Bridgewater I formation behind him, first and goal from the 5, handoff Banyard, good block from line. Banyard falls ahead to the 3. It'll be second and goal. I also had an ALS ice bucket challenge issued to me this morning from Allison Wabshaw, so we can satisfy those two right here after the next pause for a great cause, and we'll do it on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Now
you're going to do this on television.
Yeah, Pete, I'm worried about you throwing the ice at me, not just gently dumping it over somebody's head like you're supposed to, okay? Well, so don't make me nervous.
All I got around me is hot coffee, so ruin that Hammermade shirt.
21-16, Bridgewater shotgun. Vikings trail by 5. Bridgewater pass left, caught, touchdown. Alan Reisner catches Teddy Bridgewater's first National Football League touchdown, and Bridgewater on fire throws the Vikings to the lead.
Now that was a great job by Teddy Bridgewater, standing in the pocket, looking off the safety in the underneath coverage, looking to his right, and then coming back to his left from Reisner. So very, very nice job by Teddy. Great to see the young kid getting the ball in the end zone. And so for Teddy, I think he's continuing to improve, Paul, but you don't want to go over too much at what Matt Castle's done. I mean, Matt Castle, I think, is still the clear starter.
Oh, absolutely.
Matt Castle has looked very, very impressive. But how about this? We have 2 quarterbacks now, Paul, that are both looking pretty good in the preseason.
Bridgewater, 9 of 12, 91 yards, touchdown to Alan Reisner. The Vikings will go for 2. You know, on the Vikings radio network in the pregame show, we talked about rookie quarterbacks. I want to share that during the course of the fourth quarter. Some things I heard Gus Bradley say about Blake Bortles and Johnny Manziel say earlier today in a press conference in Cleveland. Bridgewater, 2-point conversion, shotgun, steps up, zips it right, caught, 2-point conversion, good! Jarius Wright. Vikings lead 24-21. Thanks to the arm of Teddy Bridgewater. Midway through the fourth quarter, an ALS Ice Bucket Challenge coming up next. But here's Teddy take 2. And a touchdown to Alan Reisner. Beautifully done. Here's the 2-point conversion to Wright. And you saw it all via Vikings football. It's Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back. Victor the Viking, I take your ALS Ice Bucket Challenge and raise you David Koob, statistician, analyst Pete Bursich, spotter Justin Miner, and Mike Wabshaw from Vikings.com. Here it is. See, this Hammermade clothing holds up beautifully when you get drenched. Victor, that was for you. Thanks, guys. There was the kickoff. Midway through the fourth quarter, Vikings lead by 3, and the Arizona Cardinals have the ball. Victor, I love you on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back to Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. The excitement is building for the new stadium in 2016 just to the west of us. It's a new home for your Minnesota Vikings and a new beginning and new opportunities for our fantastic fans. Start your Vikings legacy today by visiting VikingsLegacy.com. The Vikings lead 24-21, trying to go undefeated in the preseason. Ryan Lindley, the third quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, as mentioned earlier, will play the entire second half for Bruce Arians' Cardinals. He whips it out to the right. for a gain of 5, maybe 6 yards, making it second down. Let's go to Ben Lieber on the sidelines.
Yeah, guys, we got one of the best centers in the NFL in John Sullivan. And John, you look at this team in the offseason and now, one of the biggest strengths of this team is you guys' continuity and experience on the offensive line, returning everybody. On that play that Kyle Rudolph had on that touchdown, you and Brandon Fusco played off a defensive line stunt beautifully that allowed the time for Castle to deliver that ball. I think it's something that goes unheralded, and I think it shows you guys' experience together and how you guys communicate.
Well, yeah, we appreciate you recognizing that. And going into the game, Coach Zimmer talked about clean pockets for Castle. Obviously, when you protect him, you give him time to throw. We saw what happened on that play. It was a great result. But yeah, like you said, continuity is huge. I know what Brandon's going to do. We actually hadn't seen that on tape from them. We thought it was going to be a cross dog where they looped the nose weak Mike Strong and then the other linebacker over the top. It ended up just being a nose and Mike stunt. And we got it passed off, and good things happened.
That's football jargon for all of you people out there. When Norv Turner, I think everybody knows a Norv Turner offense, his reputation kind of precedes him. When you heard the news that they hired him, what did you feel it did for the confidence of this offensive line and this offensive team?
I think we were all just incredibly excited. We saw what he could do a year ago when he was in Cleveland. They came in and they beat us at the Metrodome, and their offense was on point that night. And obviously, he's had incredible success. You know, he's a legend in this sport, and he's still coaching. He's our offensive coordinator. I mean, it's bizarre, but we're incredibly lucky to have him.
Now, you guys are in a unique situation. It's a good problem to have. Matt Castle at quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater at quarterback. Talk about that process as you guys get ready for the season. You know, determining who's going to be that quarterback. You guys, at different times, are playing with Teddy and playing with Matt.
Well, we'll leave the determination up to the coaching staff, obviously. But they both come out and played really well tonight. Obviously, we were in there with Matt. He executed incredibly well. Let us down in a bunch of scoring drives. We would have liked to have gotten a few more touchdowns as opposed to some of those field goals. But, you know, both guys have looked great so far, and it's important to have competition at every spot. It helps everybody get better.
All right, continued success and continued health, man.
Thanks, man.
Ben Lieber and John Sullivan, starting center for the Minnesota Vikings. He is the man in the middle for the Minnesota Moving Company. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, the Cardinals are near midfield. Lindley out of the shotgun, 2nd and 12. Short drop, dump over the middle, caught at the 45, shy of the first down. Teddy Bridgewater, 9 of 12, 91 yards, touchdown to Allen Reisner. The 2-point conversion went to Jarius Wright. I shared this on the Vikings radio network earlier with Pete Bursich. Ben Lieber's welcome to join if he's available. But I heard Gus Bradley talk about Blake Bortles, the coach of the Jags, and others with the Jags after the game against the Bears Thursday night. Bortles looked terrific, but everybody around Blake was trying to subtly convince people, yeah, that worked out, but the speed of the regular season is a different beast, intimating, you know, there's no guarantee Bortles starts for Jacksonville week number 1. 3rd and 6 from the Vikings 45. Lindley shotgun, looks right, passes right, caught and wrapped up immediately and stopped. Good defensive play there made by Jamarcus Sanford. Then earlier today, before I came to TCF Bank Stadium, Johnny Manziel was doing a press conference. Johnny Manziel debuted against the Lions earlier in the week and did some good running, had some nice completions, overall looked good. Johnny Manziel came out and said, I'm not ready for Pittsburgh, which is the opponent for the Browns in week 1. Came out and basically said, I'm not ready for week 1 of the NFL season.
All right,
this stuff is hard, man. It's a long process. If you get outside of the fishbowl for a second and look at things in the macro, not the micro, you'll recognize that Bridgewater made big strides this evening.
And Manziel's showing up late for meeting and later that same week, so apparently he isn't ready for the NFL. In more ways than one.
We pause. 24-21. The Vikings lead the Arizona Cardinals with 4:02 to go in the game. This is your Ice Bucket Challenge leader. With the assistance from these 4 individuals, we settled Victor the Vikings' request on the Vikings Entertainment Network. It's Vikings football on the Minnesota Vikings Entertainment Network. What's going on, Cordero Patterson? Just a couple of receptions tonight, but Cordero Patterson definitely a candidate to lead the Vikings in receptions this year. We'll put Ben Lieber into the conversation here shortly, talk a little Vikings offense. The Arizona Cardinals are 3 of 3 on 4th down conversions this evening. This is 4th and 3 from the Vikings 42. Flag, movement, right tackle. Make it 4th and 8.
False start. Offense, number 79, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
And that takes Bruce Arians' team from a 4th and 3 potential try to a punt. And Adam Thielen trots onto the field for the Vikings to retrieve the punt. Adam did quite well last week in that role as a punt returner. 3 returns, 52 yards. And he had a long last week of 25 yards on punt returns, a 17.5 yard per return average. Definitely gets it done. Left-footed punt, end over end. Thielen calls for a fair catch, brings it in at about the 10-yard line. 3:55 to go in the game. We are at TCF Bank Stadium, just to the west of us. New stadium construction continues on the site that used to house the Vikings at Mall of America Field. And there you can see the hole that is present is massive. What do you think, Peter?
It is amazing to see what they've done, and even last year how they didn't waste any time. They were digging up the parking lot before the season was even over. But you see Ziggy Wolf looking over the site. I mean, this is something he's very familiar with a lifetime of real estate and building. You get to drive by, you see some of the infrastructure going up. It's exciting.
NewMinnesotaStadium.com for information. You can watch things live, and also, you can get tickets to Vikings games here this season at TCF Bank Stadium, beginning with Tom Brady, Captain Cool, and the New England Patriots, second week of the season. That would be September 24th, the home opener for Matt Castle, Teddy Bridgewater, Adrian Peterson, and your Vikings by going to Vikings.com. Really, really cool home schedule this year. RG3 with the Redskins in town, Cam Newton with the Carolina Panthers here. Of course, Pete Bursage's favorite, Aaron Rodgers, and the Green Bay Packers here. The Chicago Bears with that nice offense, Detroit Lions, etc. Vikings.com for the schedule, Vikings.com for tickets. Teddy Bridgewater back to pass, swings it out to the right side, and it's caught at the 10-yard line. And making a man miss and tearing up the sidelines is Dominique Williams, an undrafted rookie running back from Wagner. Gain of 11.
Now we've seen the running backs flexed out in receiver positions, and this is what you want to do. Get them the ball, make one man miss. That's a running back matched up with against a linebacker in space, and a running back should win that battle. So great move there. And up the field. So these running backs across the board, Paul, tonight have been featured outside of the backfield, and a few of them have made some good plays.
Bridgewater 10 of 13, 102 and a touchdown. Under center as they approach the 2-minute warning. Williams gets the call. Flag on the play. Tried right. Got a little shifty and cut upfield to the left across the 25. Flag on the play.
Holding. Offense, number 87. 10-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Good times, bad times for Alan Reisner. Caught a touchdown, just a flag for holding. A statistical recap for you here briefly as we approach the 2-minute warning. If you missed the majority of the game on the Vikings Entertainment Network or Vikings Radio Network, you missed a terrific performance by Matt Castle. The veteran from USC went 12 of 16, 153 yards and a touchdown. Passer rating of 125.3. Matt Asiata carried it 10 times for 19 yards. Jerick McKinnon, the rookie, 11 runs, 3 yards. Matt Castle ran 3 times for 30 yards. Kyle Rudolph caught 4 passes, 89 yards and a touchdown. Greg Jennings with a couple of receptions, 27 yards. Williams left side spurts past the 15 and is taken down at the 18-yard line. Clock stops with 2:12 to go in the game. Bruce Arians will take a timeout here. The second charge timeout for the Arizona Cardinals. Vikings lead 24-21.
As the clock is winding down, that was one of the, it's still the preseason, Paul, but when you get a holding penalty late inside of that or close to that 2-minute window, it slows things down, and it really adds another stoppage of the clock for the Arizona Cardinals. So, trust me, Zimmer's on the sidelines treating this just like it's a normal game, running through his head the different situations, what he wants to do, how do you want to manage the clock. And so with 2nd and 13, you just don't want to make a mistake.
Cordero Patterson being shown now chatting with Robert Blanton and Christian Ponder. He has the 2 longest kick return touchdowns in Vikings history. 109 against Green Bay, 105 against the Bears. That's tied with Percy Harvin for second. Cordero Patterson with a kick return average of 32.4, number 1 in team history. He had 6 touchdowns the final 5 games last year, 3 rushing and 3 receiving. I wonder what's next for Cordero Patterson.
Well, I think he's making that transition to being the #1 wide receiver for this Minnesota Vikings football club. And, that's going to be the challenge. That's something that Percy Harvin never really did. He was more of a hybrid running back. And we've seen Cordero take the ball out of the backfield late in the season last year and just do magical things with it as well. But with the way he's running routes, with the way he's using his hands and using his body, you're going to see him become a #1 receiver for this club. I mean, Kyle Rudolph kind of stole the show today, but I think Patterson's been very consistent. Jennings has been very consistent. So the only bad part, that's the good news. The bad news is that being featured in the offense as a wide receiver may take him off some of the return game here and there. Maybe put him in situations where you are looking for a big return. You end up becoming almost too valuable to lose on special teams.
3rd and 13, Bridgewater deep drop, hit, and Teddy has been sacked at the 7-yard line, taking us to the 2-minute warning. The Vikings lead 24-21, 2-minute warning from TCF Bank Stadium. Ryan Lindley and the Arizona Cardinals with an opportunity to come back and beat the Teddy Bridgewater-led Minnesota Vikings on the Vikings Entertainment Network. Welcome back to Vikings football on the Vikings Entertainment Network. There's Teddy Bridgewater tonight. Teddy take 2. Carry us through it, Peter.
Now, nice play action pass and a throw down to Thielen down the middle. So he and Thielen had a nice rapport early. As you see, Thielen grabbed down another one. A nice move there, break free. Pass to Reisner. Later on, down, nice slant to Jarius Wright. And another nice pass to Reisner, looking off the middle of the field and coming back to him. So Teddy did just nice control underneath, stayed on his feet, avoided the rush, and had a tremendous series.
Jeff Locke with a terrific punt. Golden falls ahead for 7, maybe 8 yards to the Vikings 48-yard line. There's Teddy Bridgewater, 10 of 13, 102 yards. He completed 77% of his passes this evening. He was a 71% guy last year for Louisville. It really was his calling card, was his accuracy. And the fact that he does not turn over the ball, at least he didn't last year at Louisville. 427 attempts, only 4 interceptions. Bridgewater with a touchdown to Alan Reisner and a 2-point conversion to Jarius Wright. The Vikings quarterbacks combined this evening, Pete, 22 of 29, 255 yards, a couple of touchdowns, no interceptions. Norv.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a nice controlled offense underneath. We saw a couple more shots deep. Nothing too crazy. Not Air Coryell by any means, but still some nice rhythm passing.
Jabari Price, rookie corner, shaken up a little bit. Escorted off the field by doctors Joel Boyd and certified athletic trainer Eric Sugarman. Ben Lieber joins the conversation now. Ben, Teddy take 2. What was your takeaway?
Well, again, I think you look crisp. We see the power and velocity in that arm. I think you talk about a live arm, and he's got it. So a beautiful pass to Thielen, couldn't haul it in. So he's shown some velocity, shows some touch. Now, I think that he's just got to get some more reps. It's all about repetition and anticipation of what the defense is going to do. So that'll eventually come, but I like what I see.
Who do you think leads the Vikings in receptions this year, Ben?
Man, I think it's going to be Greg Jennings, and what he can do in that slot. As we get into these games, that slot position becomes even more important. So I think he's going to continually win those one-on-one matchups, and whoever the quarterback is going to find him.
Lindley fires right, incomplete. Justin Tratow with the rush from the backside. There's Greg Jennings. You think he leads the Vikings in receptions this year, Pete, or do you like Cordero Patterson or maybe Kyle Rudolph?
I think when it comes to receptions, it's probably going to be Kyle Rudolph. Now I know Jennings took care of Ben Lieber, and I think Ben Lieber's returning the favor by taking care of Jennings.
Yeah.
You know what? I'd love to see Jennings though be that guy. He kind of disappeared last year, except for when Castle was at the helm, and Castle knew how to throw to Jennings, knew when to use him, and they had a rapport. We saw it start.
False start, offense, number 79. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
We saw that rapport start when we were in London, Paul. No question about it. So I hope Jennings is on track for more receptions this year than a year ago. We brought him in. He's supposed to be our #1 wide receiver, but with the advancement of Cordero Patterson and really with Norv Turner and a guy like Kyle Rudolph, who's let's face it, running some really good routes, and being where he's supposed to be on time, I think Rudolph's gonna be the leading receiver on this team.
Vikes by 3, 1:44 to go. Lindley, dump left, incomplete. Nobody within the vicinity. Flag on the play. The intended receiver that time was Darren
Personal
Fowles.
foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 34.
Oh.
Hitting the quarterback with his helmet. That's a 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Andrew Sendejo, who missed last week's game. Peter Andrew Sendejo.
Well, Sendejo coming in, and I think it's just a matter of right there when he puts the crown down on him. That's such a tough situation. And I think if they would have seen Sendejo pull back at least a little bit, or try to pull back a little bit, they would have swallowed that flag. But hard to blame Sendejo on that. When you're free to the quarterback, man, you got to go.
Cardinals have no timeouts left, trailing by 3. Deep in the game, blitz is on. Lindley deep left side inside the 5, incomplete flag.
How can?
Go ahead.
I don't understand how, and Ben Lieber help out on this one, how the back judge from standing underneath the goalpost can throw a flag when the side judge is standing right in front of the play.
Defense.
I'm not exactly sure. And I see that replay right there. And I don't agree with that call, just like I don't agree with the Sendejo call. I mean, you go back to Andrew's call, you couldn't ask for the guy to do anything better. Great job off the side, blitzing. They don't pick him up. And he tries to actually move his head off to the side, so he gets a roughing the passer penalty. And right here, I don't see where the flag is at, and I don't see how you can throw that as the back judge.
I got to watch it again. Cox may have had a hold of his jersey. If he did, that's absolutely an infraction, but I agree with Pete. You had field judge 33, Steve Zimmer, right next to it. He didn't throw a flag, but the back judge did. So here we go. Minute and a half to go. Vikes lead by 3. First and goal from the 6. Lindley swings it out right, incomplete. The Arizona Cardinals trying to come from behind against the Minnesota Vikings. Reminiscent of when Pete Bursich was a linebackers coach for the Vikings in 2003.
And how did that call go on the radio?
That was Josh McCown. Here it is, the season's on the line. He found Nathan Poole front right of the end zone. Corey Chavis, where are you?
Oh, my
Brian
heavens.
Russell, Denard Walker a little late on the scene. And Pete Bursich got cost about $16 grand in playoff money as a linebackers coach. Hey, TCF Bank Stadium comes to its feet. Ryan Lindley looking at 8 Vikings in the box. Back to pass. Fade right back of the end zone. Nothing. And no flags. Third and goal from the 6. Arizona with no timeouts. 24-21. Everything had to go right for the Cardinals to win that game. And that was a game at the end of the 2003 season where if your Vikings, you as linebackers coach, win the game, you're in the playoffs and the Packers are out. If you lose, Green Bay's in and you're out.
It couldn't have been any more of a nightmare situation than what it was. So.
And it was also Emmitt Smith's final game in the National Football League. Lindley calling audibles. Third and goal from the 6. Trips right. 2 receivers left. Here it is. Preseason game 2's on the line. Lindley back to pass. Fires. Ball's tipped in the air. Incomplete. Now the Arizona Cardinals will go for it on 4th down, or will they? Bruce Arians, what are you going to do here? You're going to kick a field goal and force preseason overtime? I bet you he doesn't. He's a crafty veteran.
Yeah, nice job by the corner on this side, having vision back of the football and sinking back in right there to get a hand on it. So,
hey,
you know, these DBs, Paul, they're on a serious note, they're playing very, very well with a lot of awareness, and fundamentally they look great.
Here it is, preseason game 2's on the line. 3 receivers right. Ryan Lindley set to take the snap. He takes the snap. Timeout. I think Mike Zimmer called a timeout. I think we should give some Vikings Entertainment Network claps right now for Bruce Arians for going for a win instead of a tie in preseason overtime.
I mean, Zimmer knows he wants to get him to line up, and probably saw something he didn't like. So I don't think that was planned. He's reacting to something that he saw on the field. But you're right, Paul. I think of all the rule changes that they had, they're messing around with the PAT. They're doing all this stuff in the preseason. Eliminate overtime, please. Again, it doesn't benefit either team or anyone, I don't think, in the league to have overtime in the preseason. So
what if he needs more Ryan Lindley observation time?
I think if you don't get what you need to get done in 4 quarters, then you don't deserve extra time.
The Arizona Cardinals are 3 of 3 on 4th down this evening. And Drew Stanton threw a touchdown to tight end Darren Fells earlier in the game. But the Vikings lead 24-21. A minute 20 to go. Here it is. Preseason game 2 is on the line. 3 receivers right, 2 left. Lindley, play clock down to 7. Set to take the snap. It's a botch snap. Lindley is hit, and the Minnesota Vikings have won.
Oh, not yet.
Oh no, the ball's loose, and a member of the Cardinals has run in. Chicanery and skullduggery here at TCF Bank Stadium.
Now the referees are going to have to get together to see if somebody blew the whistle.
Oh, this ought to be fun.
If one of them blew the whistle before the play was over, it's going to be whistled dead.
Holy cow. This feels like a 15-minute
The ruling
review.
on the field is it was a backwards pass.
Okay.
The ball was picked up by another offensive player and returned over the goal line, which is a touchdown.
Uh-oh. Zach Bauman, a rookie from Northern Arizona, perhaps the hero of the evening. It was a botched snap. Lindley got hit. Looked like he was down. But here it is. We're taking a peek at it in the stadium as Zimmer chats with a member of the officiating crew. Now, you had an offensive lineman scoop that thing to the side.
He scooted it out to the side.
Now we have to figure out the Franco Harris, Dave Casper bit. I don't even know Roman numerals. How am I supposed to figure this out?
Yeah, the ball it's just laying there on the ground for someone to get on top of, and that's intentional, no question, that for the lineman.
I think the Vikings have won. Do you? Or is this another improbable, weird loss to the Arizona Cardinals?
Yeah, we just have. What is the deal with the Cardinals in this organization getting things done?
Hey, here's the review from the back. Lindley, ball is still loose. Ball is loose. 79 kicked it a little bit. Well, the offensive lineman scooped it off to the side. I mean, you played and coached in the NFL. I didn't.
No, I know.
Legal or not?
No, well, that's the question, and it's been my understanding that with this rule that the only person that can advance that fumble inside the 2 minutes is the person who fumbled it originally.
Yeah. And how can that be a backwards pass when it was?
He never had control. Well, he never had control of it. So it was a fumble from the get-go, loose ball on the ground. So we'll see.
I'm going to text Bernie Kukar and see if he's watching.
He's probably sleeping right now. That's disappointing, though. They have a ball.
Oh, and the thing rolled forward, too.
Yeah, they had the ball on the ground like that.
Vikings have won. Right?
To have the ball lay on the ground like that for that long and not have a purple jersey end up on it.
Here we go. Referee's out from under the hood. Craig Rolstad.
The ruling on the field is confirmed.
Okay.
It is a touchdown. The backward pass was never possessed by anyone. Therefore, by rule, the ball can be picked up and advanced by the offensive team. They advance the ball over the goal line, therefore it's a touchdown.
Okay. I guess you learn something new every day in this wacky game. I guess you can scoop the ball and roll it like you're bowling.
I guess you can turn it into rugby. So I think the main key, though, with the whole thing, Paul, is that nobody had Look at Zim. That nobody had possession of the ball. And so that's why they're allowing that to happen. So they're,
well, you know what?
That's what they're talking to Zim about right now.
Here's the serendipity of it all.
Now,
Teddy take 2 has a minute 11 to win the game.
Yeah, we'll see if Teddy can come through. Now, if you could mic somebody, forget the player. I'd like to hear the microphone on Zimmer right now. He gives the officials a little bit of a peace of mind, of his mind.
Jay Feely for the 33-yard extra point try. The Cardinals lead 27-24. Snap spot. 28-24.
Barely.
Yep, tipped in off the upright.
How about that?
Get your 2014 Viking season tickets. Excellent location still available, and receive priority on tickets in the new stadium. It is Vikings.com for information. Vikings.com for information. Get your Vikings tickets. Once again, the first home game is against the New England Patriots. That is Sunday, September 14th. Then we have Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons, Sunday, September 28th. Their offensive line coach, Falcons offensive line coach, Mike Tice.
I hear he's kind of stealing the show on Hard Knocks. Paul.
Detroit Lions, Sunday, October 12th. Redskins, Packers, Panthers, Jets, and Bears make up that home schedule. Get those tickets now at Vikings.com. Ben Lieber, do you have a take on that that weird final play that gave that weird last play that gave the Cardinals the lead?
Yeah, you know, I thought, according to the rules, I could tell that nobody had clear possession, but the ball was batted back but rolled forward from where it was batted, so I didn't think that you could actually advance a fumble if it was rolling forward by another player. So that's where I thought the interpretation was they're going to overturn the call in the field because the ball actually rolled forward, but apparently I was wrong.
Well, let's just go ahead and win this thing with Jerick McKinnon from like 105.
I'm with you.
A minute 11 to go. Here's Jay Feely's kick. Returnable for McKinnon if he wants to come out 9 yards deep, and he does. Here comes the rookie Jerick McKinnon to the 10, to the 15, and he's upended at the 17. A 26-yard return by Jerick McKinnon. Teddy Bridgewater gets one more opportunity.
Yeah, Paul, you know, you mentioned how this thing's ended, and really for Viking fans and for the coaches in the big picture, you don't like to see a defense giving up a touchdown late in the game, but this is going to give Teddy Bridgewater a great chance in a 2-minute drill to do what he can do.
Let's see what Norv Turner, the offensive coordinator with 40 years of coaching experience, 30 in the NFL, dials up for Teddy. 10 of 13, 102, a touchdown to Allen Reisner, passer rating of 124.5. Teddy has completed 77% of his passes. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Bridgewater out of the shotgun, 1st and 10 from his own 17. He takes the snap. Cardinals blitz. Teddy dumps down underneath on a cross to Rodney Smith, the undrafted guy from Florida State. Gain of 10. Smith runs out of bounds in front of the Cardinals bench at the 27. Vikings have 2 timeouts remaining. On the offensive line for the Vikings, Vladimir Dukas, the former Jet, is the right guard. Joe Berger is the center. David Yankee, the rookie from Stanford, is the left guard. Remmers is the right tackle. And Wentworth is the left tackle. Bridgewater, 101 to go. 2 receivers right, 1 left. Bridgewater shotgun. Snap. Big blitz. Bridgewater hit as he throws. Dumps complete. Rodney Smith, 30, walks out of bounds at the 34. It's a gain of 6. Bridgewater hit as he released it. Handled that with a plum.
Yeah, these Cardinals, Paul, they're staying aggressive, and they're not really worried about protecting the sideline. Most of the time, defenses in this situation will try to keep the receiver in bounds to try to keep that clock running. But the Cardinals are happy with sending extra guys and keeping man-to-man across the board or a tight underneath zone. So our receivers are able to catch the ball, turn up the field, move the chains, and stop the clock.
Adam Thielen slot right. Bridgewater takes the snap, faces another blitz, dump left, caught Jarius right. And the defender for the Cardinals kept him in bounds. Brilliant play made by Brandon Sermons, a rookie corner from UCLA, former teammate with Anthony Barr and Jeff Locke. 12-yard gain. We have to use one of our 2 timeouts, Peter.
Yeah, and that's a veteran, that's a veteran receiver out there in Jarius Wright. You think that he would know better.
Well, he tried to get out of bounds. Look at this.
Well, they're trying and doing are 2 different things, Paul. He's got to get himself out. No, one way or the other. You can't leave that up for interpretation. He had the stiff arm. He should have been heading more out of bounds. And but again, it's a kind of a rookie mistake made by a guy who's no longer a rookie. But Teddy Bridgewater looking good. The Cardinals continuing to be aggressive. At some point, we're at midfield. I would think that Teddy would sit back and bomb one deep, Paul. So it's coming. It's going to be a shot at the end zone here pretty soon. Trust me.
Blair Walsh missed a 51-yard field goal off the upright. That's playing big right now. Preseason game 2. Make that 3 receivers right, 1 left. Bridgewater. 1st and 10 from the 45. Bridgewater stands tall in the pocket. There it is, Pete. It's a deep pass left. Caught at the 20. Teddy looped that thing up there for Rodney Smith. And Rodney brings it in for a 37-yard connection. Timeout, Vikings. 36 seconds to go. It's the preseason, but we're having a lot of fun on this Saturday night in Minneapolis.
Well, nice job by Smith in the outside one-on-one, and you have that height advantage. Ball thrown just a little bit behind, but once you get a chance to look at Teddy Bridgewater in the pocket, he was under duress. Threw that ball off his back foot and still had the arm strength to get it there. So nice job by Bridgewater. This is the touch that we're talking about, Paul, and the deep ball that we haven't seen out of a quarterback in quite some time, and he's done it twice tonight. So Teddy, with pressure in his face all night long, has stood tall in the pocket. And if the Arizona Cardinals have done anything to Bridgewater, at least what Bridgewater has shown is that he can stand in the pocket with a guy barreling down right down the middle, release the ball, get it downfield on place and on time.
Bridgewater took a hit from backup linebacker JoJo Dixon, a rookie. Teddy is 14 of 17, buck 67 and a touchdown. He's completed 82% of his passes first down. It's 1st and 10. Bridgewater back to pass. He'll dump it right. Caught at the 9-yard line. It's caught by Kane Coulter, the former quarterback for the Northwestern Wildcats. A gain of 8 yards to the 10. 2nd and 2, 34 seconds to go in the game, and neither team has any timeouts.
There we go.
What happened?
Roughing the passer.
Okay.
We'll take it. Again, another nice route. You know, the Cardinals, it's
hey,
I know it's a preseason.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of have to scratch your head a little bit at what they're trying to do defensively.
You know,
it's just not working.
You know, these Cardinals on that weird touchdown with the ball rolling and everything, you know what they did? They left too much time on the clock for Teddy. 1 minute and 11 seconds. 28-24, Cardinals lead the Vikings. Trips left. Kane Coulter right. Look at Teddy, he's in charge. 1st and goal from the 5. Cardinals blitz. Bridgewater back to pass, flushed out to the right. This time he'll throw the ball back right of the end zone, incomplete, flag. Now,
it's going to be holding on the Cardinals.
Okay.
On the back end, and again, that's the spot where it comes from. Bridgewater, again, buying time with his feet, making a great decision, throw it out of the back of the end zone. Nice job.
Before the pass was thrown, holding, defense, number 44. That penalty will be half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Holding Keenan Clayton, a 4th-year linebacker from Oklahoma. 28-24 Cardinals.
This is the athleticism. You're seeing him against safeties and everybody else in his face, man-to-man back. And the Cardinals, again, Paul, they're coming after him. They have their ears pinned back. They're as aggressive as I've seen any defense. Granted, it is still a preseason game, but they're not worried about deep safeties here. They're sending the house.
1st and goal from the 3. Snap to Teddy. Looks left. Floats out to the right. Passes right. End zone. Incomplete. Alan Reisner, the intended receiver, thought he got pushed down, but he didn't. Now it's 2nd and goal from the 3. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. I mean, getting serious with this preseason game. I know we're having a lot of fun, but how about a design to draw for Teddy or some type of design run for Teddy? You got 22 seconds and it's 2nd down. So obviously you want to get him out of bounds. You don't want to kill the clock here. But let's Teddy has a lot of athletic ability. Let's run Teddy.
And on that last play, he had the time that if he at least made it look as if he was going to run, he could have pulled coverage off of someone.
Bridgewater shotgun. Cardinals blitz a million. Bridgewater fade right into the end zone. Touchdown! Touchdown, Teddy! That goes to Rodney Smith. And the Minnesota Vikings lead 30-28 with 18 seconds to go in the game. The Cardinals thought they had come from behind to pin a nasty defeat on Teddy Bridgewater and the Minnesota Vikings, but they left a minute 11. They left too much time for Teddy.
And Teddy threw this exact pass earlier to Jerome Simpson and didn't put it on the back shoulder. So now he comes back, puts it right where he wants to be. Now watch, there's Jerome Simpson right there. You know, he's laughing and smiling just because he put it right where he wants to be. And that's a quarterback getting better.
Look at those coaches. Even Norv gave it a clap.
That's about as excited as they're going to get at 18 seconds left to go in a preseason game.
Clint Kubiak, one of the offensive assistants, Gary's son, pumped his fist. 30-28. Walsh, extra point. Yes! 18 seconds to go in the game. Vikings lead 31-28. That Vikings drive, we'll get it to you momentarily. It was 7 plays, 83 yards, 53 seconds. Bridgewater, 32nd overall pick in the draft. 16 of 20 for 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, including a game winner. Passer rating of 136.9. He's completed 80% of his passes. analyze this replay for those who missed it, Mr. Bursic?
Well, like I said, it was the back shoulder fade with Smith being out there, the big body wide receiver. The spot where the pass earlier to Jerome Simpson needed to be, so he made it right the second time, Paul. But the Cardinals challenged him. They blitzed him. They played man across the back, sometimes with a free safety, sometimes not. But he did make the big play, the big throw down the field with somebody in his face, and that was the big play to Smith. So that play got them into the red zone and into the position where he could throw a pass like this. So Teddy Bridgewater really doing a nice job of taking what the defense was giving him and capitalizing on it. And we mentioned this even, Paul, going into the pregame, is that we're going to get a lot more one-on-ones on the outside. And oh, by the way, wait until number 28's back in the game.
Oh, that's right. He hasn't played yet, has he?
And they're going to have 7 or 8 or 9 guys in the box. You're going to get these one-on-ones on the outside. But I love the touch and the deep ball of Teddy Bridgewater so far. And if it continues to get better, I mean, who knows, 2, 3, 4 years down the road, this kid might just be dynamite.
Walsh with a line drive kick. And the Cardinals will start from their own 29 with 13 seconds to go in the game.
Think they got the fumble Ruski, Paul?
The scoreboard says 30-28. Yeah, it's 30-28 Vikings.
Well, you got 13 seconds, no timeouts left, so this will be a situation again, Paul. The defense, DBs, you want to keep the ball in the field to play, and not let them stop the clock.
Here's Ryan Lindley, 2 receivers right, 1 left. Lindley with no timeouts, dump left, incomplete. Vikings quarterbacks tonight: Pete Bursic, Matt Castle, and Teddy Bridgewater, or Darrell Patterson and Teddy Bridgewater. The quarterbacks tonight for the Vikings: Castle and Bridgewater, a combined 28 of 36, 330 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, a good night by the duo, and we said it coming in. This Arizona Cardinal defense, they're a solid club. I mean, you have a lot of very good defensive backs on this. Patrick Peterson, Antonio Cromartie, they have some depth at the position. So impressive outing against a really solid Arizona Cardinal defense.
Lindley back to pass, zips it right, caught at the 40, but upended and stopped by Marcus Sherrills, and that's the game. By the way, Blair Walsh missed that extra point. Justin Minor, the spotter, picked that up, but nevertheless, it doesn't matter. The Vikings beat the Arizona Cardinals 30-28. Thanks in large part to Teddy Bridgewater, who finished as 16 of 20, 177 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Teddy, an 80% quarterback tonight at 1:11 to go, and led the Vikings on a drive that was capped with a touchdown to Rodney Smith, and it gave the Vikings a 30-28 victory. Matt Castle also had a fantastic evening tonight. He threw a touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. Matt finished 12 of 16 for 153 yards and a touchdown. Once again, the final score from the University of Minnesota: Vikings 30, Arizona Cardinals 28. On behalf of Ben Lieber and Greg Coleman, along with Pete Bursic, I'm Paul Allen. Next week, we take on the Kansas City Chiefs on the road at 7 o'clock Central. Thanks for joining us. This has been a presentation of the Vikings Entertainment Network.